Hey, Bob, you're watching Dolly Vision.
The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
What is up, YouTube? It is Dolly back in the house. And man, it's early for me to be up here on YouTube, but it's good to see everybody so bright and early this morning. We're going to be going over the top cases in true crime. Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers, Jack and Lilly, and some other stuff if we have time. So make sure, if you haven't yet, go ahead and leave your fingerprints and your DNA all over that like button down here. Okay, don't act like you're brand new. Just because it's early in the morning don't mean you ain't got to like the video. So just in case, you could go missing and you're going to need somebody to find you. And Dolly's the dude, right? I can come hunt you down or at least sleuth for answers, all right? At least sleuth for answers. Also, if you're brand new out there and you haven't subbed up the channel yet, sub up the channel, ring the bell for notifications. Of course, feel free to share my ugly face on any social media platform that you choose. And Cable, thank you for being a member for 13 months. That is super awesome. You've been here a little over a year now as a member. Couldn't do it without you. Okay. Couldn't do it without you. Now we're going to be talking cases where some of these people have not been convicted yet. And you know, some of these crimes have not been solved. So I got to give my warnings for, for legal reasons. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact. It's just my opinion, people. Completely satire. The callers today, if we take calls, their opinions are theirs and theirs alone, not to reflect on the Dolly. Everyone is innocent to proven guilty in a court of law. And the biggest thing of all, never be Jody Sue Brown. Okay. Never be Jody Sue Brown. No matter what you do, don't do it. Okay. With that said, we do have a goal set today on the Dolly train, the Blessed Express. And if we hit that goal, I am giving away this Justice for Summer hat. I just made it. I made me one. So I made two. But I will sign this hat and I will give it away. When we hit this goal, we'll draw numbers. And this is what I will be giving away today. It's all cute, right? All pink and girly. Mine's black. But, this is the one that I'm giving away. The Justice for Summer hat with the little angel wings. Love the hat. Okay. Well, if we hit the goal, we'll be giving that hat away today. And we're going to jump right in, of course, to the Summer Wells stuff because, anytime there's news on Summer Wells, there's always a lot of chaos that follows this child. Okay. No doubt it's always something crazy. And we have a lot of crazy players in the Summer Wells case, from everybody from Don Wells to Candace to Grandis to Fred Hill to Ziggy to Andy B to damn Jody Sue Brown, which just the other day did a 12-hour live stream from a meth lab. Okay, I don't know if she really did it from a meth lab, but she sat up there for 12 straight hours bitching about Dolly playing my videos, as I guess she reacted to it as she was getting tore up from the floor up. So it started off, you could understand her. By 12 hours later, she was full Brittany J in a chair, half asleep. It was insane. It is insane. But we still don't know what the police have not come out and given us anything. Hawkins County, especially after the raid on Van Hill Road, you would be thinking, well, they got to know something. Some type of tip came in to lead them to Van Hill Road, which, Paul Hill, which is an 80-year-old man, lives at home, but he has a lot of family members, and he owns a pretty good piece of land. I was looking at how much land he owned right there last night. Okay. And I was like, okay, well, he owns a very big piece of land. And, maybe people are going back on his property, maybe doing some partying, maybe doing some fishing. There's a fishing hole out there. It's kind of hard to see from the aerials, but it does look like a small fishing pond out there. Some people say he stocks it, like a fish breeder type, fish farm type situation. There was rumors at one point that it was a slaughterhouse. I don't think it's a slaughterhouse at this time. There's been rumors that it was a damn pig farm. Okay. A pig farm. But as you can see from the aerials, there's no real big stables or pens for pigs. Now they could be in the barns. I don't know. I haven't been to the property to actually look, but something led the FBI, TBI, and the Hawkins County Police to raid this home. And yes, they did raid it because that's the wording that the media used. Okay. And they got this information from a source at the TBI that had tipped them off. So if they're raiding homes and they're searching for something definitely had to lead them to this address. So a lot of people were speculating about who could it be? Was it Ziggy that called in a tip? Because, of course, the Summer Wells Illuminati is out to get Ziggy. They're trying to run her over every time she crosses the street, or she don't know how to work the street crossing sign. Okay. I don't know which one it is. I'm going to lean towards she don't know how to push the little button on the sign when she crosses the street, and she likes to walk out in traffic, right? I don't think there's no Summer Wells Illuminati that's out to get people that are getting close to the case. Okay. I don't think that's the case. I've been out all in them hollers, all in them hills that have eyes, and nobody's ever tried to run me over. Dolly's X-ray vision. Okay. Nobody's ever tried to run me over in Hawkins County. Not yet. Anyway, I don't want to push my luck. Okay, people, hit that like button. Only 123 likes, and we got 500 of you in the chat. Don't make Dolly rage quit. Okay, it's early in the morning for me. I'm a little grumpy in the mornings, right? I be just mad at the world. And don't make me mad at you for not liking this video. All right, I'll jump right through this screen like a spider monkey, and you don't want it. You don't need it. Okay, you can avoid all that by just liking the video. Okay. Just liking the video. So, we're definitely we're not going to be one of these channels that give up on little Summer Wells, right? Because, the reason I'm here is because of Summer Wells. She was the first case that I really covered on YouTube 4.5 years ago, the Summer Wells case. I see 212 says, PJ, oh Lord, the producers in the room. I thought we were safe this morning, but we ain't. That means you got to extra hit the like button. All right. You won't feed me today, and I might get beat. Okay. If you see me blink twice, send help. Okay, send help immediately. Good morning. I know some places it's cold. I see people talking about how cold it is today, and some people getting snow. We are getting heavy rain here in Virginia today. It's a rainy day, which, you know, hey, I enjoy a good rainy day. It's kind of one of those lazy days where you just get to lay around. But I do got to run some chores later today. So the question is this: where is Summer Wells, and what has led them to this new address? Now, a caller called in days ago, and I don't know. I have been thinking about what this caller has said all week, right? And this has to go with who may have called in the tip. Right now, we remember, well, we may not, y'all might not remember, but you know, Candace had recently left Don and was staying with this other man. It was her friend's husband, and her friend died. So Candace was laid up with her husband, getting her freak on, get your freak on, get your freak. Candace was getting her freak on. But this time it wasn't with a 15-year-old kid. Thank God. It was with a grown ass man. Okay. And then Candace said, okay, you know, I miss Don. Cheryl, thank you for being a member. I did have it on members only. And then I took it off. Okay. I felt like I'll let everybody in this morning. But if you ain't a member, you should think about joining up, because we're going to be doing more members. Look at what I sent Dolly. Okay, give me 1 second. I don't have that pulled up handy. The final piece, seeing as the news is out, confirmation. Okay, I will click on that in just 1 second, PJ. I want to finish telling people what I was thinking now. This may be something different than what I was thinking, but you know, Candace was with this other guy, you know, getting a freak on. And the caller said, Dolly, do you think the man she was sleeping with may have called in the tip on Van Hill Road, because she had just recently left and went back to Don? Was this person upset with Candace? And you know, while she was sipping and tipping and getting her freak on, did she say something to the person she was with? Because we got to remember that this raid just kind of came out of nowhere. You know, usually after 3 years in a case, right, it goes cold. There hasn't been no updates in 3 years. Usually that's when you can say a case is a cold case. They kind of shelf it and put it to the side. But now, through the media, not, you know, no press conferences, nothing like that, they have came out and said that this is an active investigation still. So they found something big. I don't know what they found, but let me play this video because my producer sent it in and I don't know what it is. So we're going to take a little look at it so she don't stab me in the face. So make sure y'all like this video. Okay. Oh, you sent me a picture of the hats. Okay, I see that. Let's click on this real fast. Let me skip this. Okay, this is Michelle Walks. So we're going to be taking a little listen to Michelle Walks real fast. Maybe she has something I haven't caught this morning. So let me share a screen. And if you haven't, go over there and check out Michelle After Dark. Really good channel. I like her dogs. All right, let's blow this up. Let's share it. Hold on.
If the wind noise is too much for you, but I came right on here as soon as I heard this information overnight.
Okay, she heard some information overnight. All right, we might have some breaking news from Michelle After Dark. And Vincent, thank you so much for that super sticker. We set a goal. If we hit it, I'm giving away this hat right here, this Justice for Summer hat. It's a one-of-a-kind hat. You can't get it anywhere. You can't buy it anywhere. But I will give it to you. Signed. I'll sign it right here on the bottom. Dolly. If we hit the goal. All right. Let me set that over there. I believe PJ has put a couple of these in the big mystery boxes that we sell. So, as a gift. Like, so there may be some, if you get a mystery box, there may be a little surprise in there. I can't make you no promises. PJ packs all the boxes.
My time. Some information came out on Jenkie's channel that was the same information that I was given by a credible source recently. If you remember, there was a video that I made recently saying, I have some information, you're just going to have to trust me, it's a credible source, but it makes absolute sense as to why the FBI, the TBI, Hawkins County, etc., searched property belonging to Paul Hill in the 3500 block of Van Hill Road, which was 9.5 miles away from the Wells home. By the way, where are Don and Candice? Are they really in hiding? Are the TBI really looking for them? This information I held back appears now to be out. I'll play the clip now.
Still kind of like, whoa, this is freaking me out. Said that Randy seen Summer that morning in the back of the truck sleeping. Well, Randy is a tree trimmer, and he lived on, as Paul's his dad, right? Paul is his dad, and he owned a red
Thank you,
Toyota
Lisa.
Tacoma
That's two.
truck. The truck was sold in 2022, and they hunted it down. Wow.
Okay, is this breaking information? I mean, we knew Randy Hill he worked for the tree cutting company. He worked for the city, cutting trees also. We know about the Hill Tree Service. We know he had a red Dodge, Toyota Tundra. Is that what it is? We know he had a red truck. Albie, thank you. Alba. I don't know why I say E. Albie, Alba. Thank you so much for your donation to the channel. You guys are absolutely awesome. Welcome to the Blessed Express. So she's believing, I think this is going to be, they're going to say Randy called in this tip. I'm not quite sure about that.
My goodness. He was placed there that morning. I know. Well, actually, Ziggy talked to another one of the tree trimmers, and that tree trimmer said there was a couple tree trimmers there. They asked her, Randy who? And he's like, I can't remember his last name, and Randy who? And he was one of the tree trimmers. Did you not hear that, Ryan? So one of the tree trimmers is the one that said this. This was before Ziggy was with Fred. This is when Ziggy went up there. And you didn't hear this? Oh, wow.
So seeing as the information is out, well, I'm going to confirm that from a credible source, I heard that the Toyota Tacoma was tracked down by the FBI. Remember I said it was an FBI tip that led them to Van Hill Road. It was tracked down. And whatever evidence they found in there made them search the property, the 3500 block of Van Hill Road. And it's also true, although this wasn't part of the information I was given from a source, it's also true that Randy Hill is one of the brothers, one of Paul Hill's sons. It's true that one of the brothers owns a tree trimming company, but not the same tree trimming company that was on Ben Hill the day somebody disappeared. The thing I can't confirm from this information is that Randy was one of the tree trimmers who saw Summer on the morning that she disappeared. If you remember way back when, Ziggy interviewed a tree trimmer that she just happened to spot on the road when she was doing one of her visits to Tennessee. And the audio for that video was so bad, it was really hard to listen to. But if it's true and it all fits together like a jigsaw puzzle now with the final piece added, if it's true that one of those people was Randy Hill, well, there's your link. There's all.
I don't get what's new. We, like PJ said, we reported this last week. Dolly, look at the pic of Summer Wells on the milk. Dolly had it first. I've been said that the dude seen Summer in the back of the truck. You know, I guess the news, I guess they're saying is they found a truck. Right? I don't get what this has to do with it. Randy wasn't saying he's seen Summer Wells in the back of his truck. He's the one that had the red Toyota Tundra, right? Tacoma, or whatever the hell the Toyota is, a little Japanese truck, right? He's saying he's seen, I guess, Summer in the back of Grandis's truck, not in the back of his truck. So if they found his truck, what does it matter if they found his truck? He's not saying that he's seen the kid in the back of his truck. He's saying allegedly he's seen Summer in the back of Grandis's truck. So what would that lead them to Van Hill Road for? They already know Randy Hill is connected to Paul Hill, just like Fred Hill is connected to Paul Hill, just like Andy B is connected to Paul Hill. Is this like shocking news to anybody? Because we've been talking about this for like the last week. The Randy Hill guy, and that he was there. And it was just coincidental that a Hill was there. Remember then on Allie, when she gave the interview, there was a Hill at her house. That lady passed away. So did Allie. So I must be missing something in what they're trying to tell us here, or they're just a little late on the breaking news. Sometimes it happens, right? Everybody don't watch Dolly, so they don't know what I've already reported, but I don't see the big shocker in this, right? I still don't know who told, right? And I'm thinking it may have something to do with Candace and the dude she was sleeping with. Maybe they think Randy called in the tip on his own self, which wouldn't make sense, right? Why would you call and be like, yo, my red truck is here, and then that red truck leads you to Van? That wouldn't make sense. That don't make too much sense to me. Became a member, best money you'll spend all month. Thank you so much. Nina, thank you for gifting that membership. And if you got one from Nina, thank her. Christina gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Christina. Rose donated 10. Choo all aboard the Bless Express. That is awesome of you guys. Thank you for everybody that's been donating. Like I said, if we hit our goal today, I'm going to give away that hat signed by Dolly, the greatest true crime sleuth ever to do it. Okay. There can only be one. God chose Dolly. Okay. I didn't tell him to pick me. There could, there's so many kings in this world. There's Elvis, the king of pop. There's damn Michael Jackson, king of rock, Elvis. You had the king of pop, Michael Jackson, and you got the Turtle King, Dolly. All right. Also, Army Mom, all aboard the Blessed Express. Where's the baby? Awesome. Okay. Making sure I didn't miss anything else before I go on any farther. Because y'all are talking away in the chat. I'm way behind. Here. Susan says, love this channel. Thank you. We love you guys for being here. You're great, Susan. Thank you for joining me this morning.
All the links put together. But I don't know how I feel about this information coming out when I was told not to. But there you are. That's it. That's all.
That's it?
What did they find? Property search of the 3500 block of Van Hill Road.
It's the 3500 block. It's the 3500 block of Van Hill Road. Okay. But, Michelle After Dark, she's in a different country. So she does a pretty good job considering she's not in America with her sleuthing. And usually a world of information. I think they're just a little tiny bit behind the curve here. We've been known about Ziggy talking to the tree cutter, which was Randy, that seen Summer in the back of the truck, which we know Summer was in the back of the truck because we seen the pictures of Summer leaning on the milk cartons, right? So this whole Summer in the back of the truck shit, That's 4 years ago news. Okay. Now, what we didn't know was about Paul Hill. Okay, the old man. Then we got them searching this address, which is connected to Randy Hill, which is connected to Fred Hill, which is connected to Andy B. But more on the lines of the Hills. So we know the Hills have eyes, and we know the Hills may have some knowledge of what is going on in the disappearance of Summer Wells. And you know, Fred Hill, he's been kind of under Ziggy's wing, like right here. Okay. It's just like hanging out right up under here, under the wing. And he ain't been saying much other than, you know, he's been on Donna Reverend Serafina's scamming ass channel, which, you know, I don't believe in that whole psychic stuff. I think the lady is batshit. She seems like a nice lady. I just don't believe the stuff she says. You can't convince me. She ain't solved no crime. She's been wrong about 1,000 things. I had to throw that out there. You go chasing psychics, I don't think that's the way to go. I do believe there's some people out there that are psychic, but if you are, you're not on YouTube, right? Channeling it for super chats. I just don't see that happening. All right. Connie says, good morning from Oklahoma. Good morning, Connie. Good to see you. 111 True Crime. Not sure why this matters, but Paul Hill sold his truck to a woman at church that Don Wells went to, and then Robin Lane bought it. So is this news? Why would it take FBI to track what already knew? Okay, well, I don't know if Robin Lane drives that truck, because when I was at Warriors Path, Robin came out there over that reef. Do you remember when the Warriors Path flooded and they had the memorial set up for Summer Wells? Well, I was there. Okay, I'm the one that moved all the stuff back so it wouldn't wash away. But before I did that, Robin had came and took this reef off a tree because she says she didn't want it to get messed up, and she wanted, you know, to keep it and put it back out there when it wasn't a flood or something like that. But people started raising hell about her taking it. So while I was out there moving everything away from the water edge so it didn't get flooded, she came out there and she was driving a silver SUV. Okay. Like because I looked back, I seen her pop the trunk on it, and she got out, got the reef out, gave it to one of the ladies that were out there. One of the ladies that adopted Summer's dogs. They were from like, I think they were like from Wisconsin or something. They were like from far away. CB, thank you for your donation. That is super awesome of you. And they had came down there and they had adopted the dogs. Okay, well, a couple dogs. They adopted a couple of Summer Wells' dogs. Remember when they had all the dogs on the hill? So I didn't see her driving a red truck, but I did see her. But she wasn't driving that red truck or any Toyota whatsoever. And I actually tried to adopt Rocky, which was Summer Wells' dog. So, and if anybody remembers my videos from 4.5 years ago, Rocky was the dog that was chasing me. Right. And then I didn't realize it was a beagle. I thought it was a pit bull. So I ran, but come to find out it was like this beagle mix, and Rocky was cool. So over the next couple of days that I was out there searching, me and Rocky got to know each other, the dog. So when they took all the dogs, I called up there and said, hey, I want Rocky. And they were like, Rocky got adopted today, just a few minutes before you called. And I was like, damn. So I tried to talk to people in that adopted Rocky to take a different dog. I said, tell them me and this dog got a connection. You know what I'm saying? We go way back. We're already friends. You know what I'm saying? And there's more dogs. And they were like, well, do you want another different dog? I was like, no, I want that dog. If it can't be that dog, I don't want a dog. I want that dog. And they were like, we can't do it. But I missed adopting Rocky by like maybe 20 minutes. So, but the moral of that is I didn't see her in that car. You know, and I'm not saying she didn't end up buying that truck, but I mean, that's a little weird. And here's the thing. If the truck has nothing to do with it, let's just say Randy's a tree cutter. Randy's on Ben Hill Road that day in a red truck. Okay. The red truck unless it ran over Summer Wells, has really nothing to do with it. The big thing was 4.5 years ago that they seen a red truck in the area. And at first they didn't know who the red truck belonged to. But now coming to find out that red truck belongs to Randy Hill, which is kin to Paul Hill, and they're searching there. So I don't think Randy, let's just say Randy did run over Summer Wells, hypothetically, or did something that caused the death of Summer Wells, or to cause Summer Wells to go missing. Would he call in and tell on himself? I think not. I think not. So I think their information is a little not right. Okay. That's just my armchair detective opinion, because, you know, I've been sleuthing for a long time. Most people ain't going to willingly tip off the FBI on themselves. Okay. So if he did sell this truck and he was trying to get rid of something, which, you know, let's just say hypothetically, would you tell on yourself? Human remains of dogs would attract that scent. Well, you got to remember, I don't think they had cadaver dogs on the hill soon as Summer Wells went missing. All right. They had tracking dogs. Tracking dogs are not cadaver dogs. It's two different type of trained animals. And sometimes, you know, depending on the level of the animal and how often he's trained, how often they work with that animal, some tracking dogs are better than others. Okay. If they're not active tracking, they kind of, you know, I ain't saying it's like people. Some people are really good at things. And then there's a lot of people that do the same things, but there's some people that are better at it, like Dolly in true crime, right? I'm just better than everybody. You know, there's a lot of true crimers, but there ain't nobody as good as me. So this is say it's the same way with these tracking dogs. There's a lot of tracking dogs, but ain't all of them Scooby-Doo. You know what I'm saying? We need to find out why the power went out that day. I think people are looking. I think some of these people are misdirecting people away from what's really happening. Don and Candace Wells is what's really happening. So many people are worried about, I want to know how Candace and Don Wells are connected to the 3500 block of Van Hill Road. Is it through Fred? I don't think Don and Candace were hanging out with Randy, but I do know at one point they were friends with Fred Hill. Did they go back there and hang out? Did Don and Fred go back there and do drugs together? Because it's a spot where they can hide out and possibly get high together. Is it the honey hole that Candace would go fishing in? Angela, thank you for your super sticker. That is super awesome of you. Thank you so much. But I think every time we look in a different direction, we're taking our eye off the prize. Okay. It's like basketball. They're dribbling, right? They're dribbling. You're looking over here, but the play is over here. It's like magic. It's smoke and mirrors, right? You watch this hand while Don and Candace get rid of Summer with this hand. Okay. It's always push the blame somewhere else. They've always had people out here running interference for them. That was my biggest problem with a lot of people in the beginning, is they were running interference for them. BK, he's been a good guy lately, but he was running interference for him. Cam and Allie running interference for him. Other creators on that hill that ain't even on YouTube anymore, running interference for him. So they've always had people trying to push you in different directions than to look straight at them and go, okay, listen, your story don't make no damn sense. You're lying through your damn teeth, and you wasn't at work that day. And if you lying about that, what else are you lying about? Okay. It's misdirection. Okay. It's like David Copperfield making the Statue of Liberty disappear. He got you looking over here, but the statue's over here. It never disappeared. That statue's been in the same damn spot the whole damn time. Misdirection. It's how all tricks work. And these people got tricks up their sleeve, is my thought on this whole thing. Okay. It ain't got nothing to do with the tree climbers. So you're out there sawing down trees and you're like, oh, well, I guess I want to kidnap this kid. I guess I want to just grab a kid while I'm at work, put her in my lunchbox. Where you only get a 30-minute break. Anybody ever work any kind of construction? Where are they going to go? What are they going to do with her? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think the tree climbers have shit to do with this. I don't think the fucking mailman, the milkman, any man but Don and Candace Wells, that man, Candace, looked like a man to me. She looked like a man. These are the people. Susan, thank you for becoming a member. That's keeping Dolly alive. Thank you. That's the man that's responsible. There's two men responsible, Don and Candace. Okay. And I believe Hunter knows. And there's a lot of stuff that was going on in that hill. Of what reason they did this, I don't quite know. But it's funny in cases when Child Protective Services show up and then the kids vanish. Okay, it's happened a lot. Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers, which we're going to be talking about today, Harmony Montgomery. Y'all remember beautiful little Harmony? Social services showed up. Next thing you know, she's gone. And so on and so on. Even in the Emmanuel Harrow case, they were involved in social services. And next thing you know, the kid is gone. People really need to get a life and stop falling for this hearsay and lies spreading by these loser YouTubers. These damn losing ass YouTubers. I'm the biggest loser of them all. But I'm always right, okay? I don't fall for this shit. Listen, I stick to the basics. The basics. You're lying. What reason you have to lie? The simple things. The things that put off red flags, right? As soon as I see a red flag, I'm like, oh shit, there's a red flag. That red flag means danger, right? Danger. Something's wrong. And I believe if you tell a little lie, just a little tiny, tiny, tiny lie, that little lie is to cover up a big lie. Or you wouldn't tell it unless you're just a compulsive liar. And I believe all these people are compulsive liars. I believe they're more street smart than people give Don and credit for, right? Because they're thinking nobody can get away with the perfect crime, right? These people are damn idiots. They couldn't be smart enough to get rid of this kid and get away with it. They're damn hillbillies. That's what people think. Now, these people are a lot damn smarter than you think they are. They're just street smart. You know, they may not be, they may not be able to tell you the square root of anything, or they may not be able to tell you nothing in a history book, but I guarantee you on the streets, if you need to know something, they know it. Candace, Carney, Don Wells, a career criminal. You think these people don't know where their kid is at? No. How you think they say they're going to see her in the resurrection? How come they know she's dead? And then all the hinting of selling kids and buying kids. Listen, I'm 51 years damn old. I know I look good for 51 though. Right? It's smooth. But I ain't never been nowhere they've been selling a damn kid. I couldn't sell a kid if I wanted to. I'd have a better chance of selling a wood chuck. I don't know where I'd sell one of those either, right? But I'm just saying, who goes around this? These are people that are familiar with the black web, selling kids, crack dealers, hookers. We've even heard Don say, well, I think there's a dude out here selling her for drugs, got her up in a hotel room. Well, he spent plenty of time in them hotel rooms. He spent plenty of times, allegedly sounds like stalking children, doing horrible things with kids, doing horrible alleged things with his own daughter, things that can't even make sense. Like, why, when you got to give your daughter a shower, the man is giving the daughter a shower when she has a mama in the house that she could take a shower with? But you got her in a one-man shower, and I mean one man, and not even a big man. I don't even know how they fit in that damn. It's literally in their house, and I've been in their house, so I know this firsthand. They have a one-man shower. It ain't like a big bathtub, and this is a stand-up one-man shower. So he's literally in the shower with his little girl that's up to his waist, butt ass naked, sleeping in the bed allegedly with his child, butt ass naked. Inappropriate stuff playing on the TVs and stuff. And then your kid goes vanishing. Somebody else did it. I ain't got nothing to do with it. You know, the crazy thing is this, is if your kid just vanishes, they don't do nothing. Look at Ashley Buzzard right now in California. Ashley Buzzard. That little girl's been missing for over a month. This lady's walking around buying wigs, moving, went to court, beat the court case, and still ain't said nothing about the kid. Susan gifted $1 membership. Guys, if you get a membership from somebody, make sure you give them a big virtual hug. Our memberships have been down lately. Y'all done left me out back. The greatest YouTuber to ever do it. I see how it is. Y'all probably joined up to some drama channels and y'all leaving me out here in the dark. I got my eyes on you. I got my eyes on you. So, if you don't have nobody, you don't have no kid, it's like no harm, no foul. Nobody, no charge. I can't believe that. Because, you know, I'm in Virginia. I mention this a lot. I'm proud to be from Virginia. Your kid's missing here, you going to jail. Not only are you going to jail, but you're going to prison for the rest of your damn life till we find your kid. And then somebody comes in and says, well, they wasn't responsible. Then they're like, and let you out. Right? Corey Bigsby. Son, Cody Bigsby. Little boy's been missing from our area. The police went in within the first week, said, hey, where's your kid? He said, I don't know. I went to the store, came home, he was gone. Okay. Well, you just got charged with 30 counts of child neglect. You're facing 100 years in prison. Your ass going to jail. So, you know, my psychic abilities, because Dolly's the greatest psychic on the internet. If you go back and look at the Corey Bigsby case, we were watching it live when they were doing the press conference. And they said the father volunteered to come down and answer questions. I told my chat, I said, no, he didn't. I said, I bet you this. He don't leave that jail ever. What happened? He didn't leave. He got arrested, but he did end up getting out because they violated his constitutional rights until he went to court. Then he was convicted in 30 minutes. I didn't have time to walk out the courtroom and get in my car before somebody said the verdict's back. I was like, no way. I had to run up in the courtroom. And of course, they gave him 40 years. No body, no physical evidence. The only thing was Cody's little brother seen him non-responsive. Said he tried to wake him up and he wouldn't wake up. That's it. No evidence, no nothing. Convicted. 30 minutes. You're going to prison for the next 40 years. That's just for the murder, second-degree murder. He still has court for the 30 counts of child neglect. So that man will never get out of prison here in Virginia. Bad news is they have no clue to where Cody Bigsby is. No clue. You know, there's a lot of water here where we're at, Norfolk. He was in Buckrow area, which is the Hampton area of this. But, you know, all this place here is military. It's naval bases, ships, boats. So it could have been that as easy as he took little Cody out on the water, restored faith. Thank you for becoming a member. And, you know, dropped him somewhere in the water. Or he alleges at some point he took him to Maryland and buried him under a tree. But then he recanted that and said the guards were setting him up. And he never said that. But anyway, the point is he's in prison. There's no body. They can't prove technically prove he killed this child, but he was convicted. Now we see these same things going on in other places in the country and nothing's happening. We need stronger laws that protect these kids, and they're not in place. There's really nothing they can do. If they can't prove you committed a crime, they can't charge you with a crime. Virginia, we don't care. We'll railroad your ass right into prison. We'll make some shit up on you. That's the bad thing. If you innocent here, you're in trouble. But if you guilty, you don't stand a chance. You don't stand a chance. Even if they can't prove it and they just know you did it but can't prove it, your ass is done here. Other states, they're a little more lenient with it. But we'll let you sue us. We were like, okay, we'll F up and sue us, but you're going to sit in prison until we figure it out. And I think this is how this should be. Like, I always joke about Dolly law, but they really needs to be something in place like this. We need to fix the Amber Alerts. 1K in chat and only 515 likes. Come on, guys. Please smash that like. Oh, Lord. Dolly don't get to eat today. I was hoping PJ was going to bring me some lunch, but at 515 likes, this woman ain't going to feed me. I'm done. I'm going to be all ribs and skinny, looking like Fred Hill when he got arrested, right? Don Wells, remember Don Wells crying? You hear that face he had? That is the funniest shit I ever seen. But so many people are focusing on things that I don't think matter. Okay. I don't think that matter. I think that I want to know, like I said, how is Don and Candace connected? It's a good diet, Dolly. Dolly likes being fat. Okay. It's cold outside. I need a little meat on my bones. And if y'all people out ain't like a video, I'm going to starve to death over here. My lights are going to get turned off. It's wintertime. I'm going to freeze to death. But real quick, if you're watching, there's over 1,000 of you here, 1,100 to be honest. Hit that like button, okay? Because we still got a lot of stuff to go over this morning. And that way I ain't got to say it a shit ton of times. I feel like I'm selling an 84 Buick with high miles, okay? Like the video, and then once you do, I want you to shout out where you're watching from in the chat. But don't cheat. I love your accent, Dolly. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's that redneck. I was born that way. Thank you. Thank you, little baby Jesus. But definitely like the video. Shout out where you're watching from in the room. I see Indiana's with us. You're 562. And then, of course, when you like it, throw in what like number you were. Richmond, Virginia's in the house. My neighbor, Kentucky, Tennessee. Callie's in the house. Boston. Okay, watch out for Karen Reed. She's on the loose, Zach. Ohio, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. Roll Tide. Okay. Louisiana, Ohio, OH. Someone with the West Boys, Georgia, my home state, good old Georgia, Oklahoma. Karen's on the loose. Guess where I'm at? Texas. Australia's here with us. Virginia. It's good to see some more of my Virginia peeps getting in the chat. I remember when nobody in Virginia watched me, and now I got a lot of people that watch from Virginia. So thank you guys if you're watching from Virginia. Peru, North Ireland, 757-513. All right, the 757 in the house. Colorado, Indiana, Mississippi Gulf Coast. Okay. My brother got a hot dog restaurant, Whacked Out Wieners in Alabama. Check it out. On the Gulf Coast. Rick Allen is from, I never met the guy. I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? I just know he got a hot dog business in Alabama on the Gulf Coast. Southern Cali, Central Florida. Okay. My dad had a lot of kids. Okay. He was a busy guy. Do you have the National Guard up there yet? They are sending them out. Do we have the National Guard out here? I mean, I don't know what reason we would have the National Guard. Dolly, do you know a tattoo artist called Richie? No, I don't. Miss Upper Thigh. Good morning, Turtles. Good morning to you. Okay. So let's get back to this.
I don't know. Is it true that Don and Candice are hiding?
Yes.
I don't know. As, like in Donwell's dream, as some have been down the road all of this time. Look at this absolute mud bath. Look at this.
Oh, okay.
Look at this. Oh, a noodle is right in the middle of it. Tell you what, as soon as Noodle gets out here, he loses his mind. Like, I don't exist.
Yeah, right.
Like, these two spaniels, they know where I am at all times.
Yeah, I had a woman hit me up not too long ago, said she was my sister. She lived in, I forget, Texas or something. You know, I guess my dad, he got around a lot. He traveled a lot, and he had kids, I guess, damn everywhere. So
Tilly's on a lead today because she's not got her listening ears on. And these two spaniels will come back immediately. She's already come back. Watch Noodle, though. Noodle! Come on, Noodle!
well, I'm sure, you know, somebody said, Dolly, did they ever check out the job site that Don Wells worked at? You know, that day he was working, Chris Proudfoot was there pouring concrete. They worked on the same job. Did anybody know that? Anybody know that? That Don and Chris Proudfoot worked together? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That would be crazy. That would be a crazy connection, though, right? Wouldn't that be crazy? I'm only playing, guys. Just a joke. I don't know if Chris was pouring concrete at Don Wells' job. I'm just joking. Don't run with that. Next thing you know, it'll be breaking news, right? No, I'm just joking. I don't know if they did, but if they did, that might explain a lot, right? We got to check to see where damn Proudfoot was 4.5 years ago when someone went missing. Was he pulling concrete that day in Johnson City? We need to know, okay? Inquiring minds want to know. But no, I mean, I've heard that that Rose Bly is underneath the driveway, right? They put concrete over her. Y'all remember that? Everybody's rumoring that Candace said she's under the driveway. She's all drunk. She's under the driveway, right? So, I mean, if they want to hide a body, I guess the best way to do it is to put your ass under some concrete, right? Jesus Christ, you just started the breaking news rumor. Oh my God. Okay, I shouldn't have said nothing. I should have just said that and seen how many people ran with it. You know, just to see how many people don't do no background checking. Like, you hear? Chris was working with Don. It'd be on damn, you know, the mob crew be looking for the lights, you know what I'm saying? And then you would I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I got jokes this morning, okay? I got damn jokes. I got jokes.
Come on, Noodle!
Come on, Noodle.
Oh, he's proving me wrong. Look at that. Just because you're watching. No. Noodle!
Noodle! Come on, Noodle!
Come on, Noodle!
Come on,
Come on, Noodle!
Noodle!
Come on, Noodle! I'm blind, Noodle!
Uh-oh.
Noodle!
I don't know if that's a noodle or a doodle. It looks more like a doodle to me than a noodle. Okay. That's Noodle Doodle, the dog. All right. So that was Michelle After Dark. Her news is a little late, you know, but that might be new news for her. It's kind of old news for me. I mean, I've been known that Randy Hill was one of the tree climbers out there, tree trimmers out there. He also he does some work for the city. At some point, he worked for Hill Tree Cutting, which is the right there on Van Hill Road. You know, when we were map questing, we were pulling a Gray Hughes, right? And we were looking at the maps. We seen that the Hill Tree Service trucks were out there. So, hey, Helena, Dolly, you can go farther with the Dolly law you were speaking of, even if it was a joke. Well, I mean, I'm not too much into politics, but I wish somebody would take that and run with it. I don't care what you name it, but as long as that law's in place where we treat these as crime scenes instead of runaway children, you know, because everybody that unalives their kid always says, oh, it wandered off. And then they're out looking for the kid instead of focusing on that house right at that moment, because that gives people time to get rid of evidence, to clean the crime scene, to do these things. I think we got to take that a little more seriously. When a kid under the age of 10 goes missing, a crime is committed, right? We don't know if he killed that kid or that kid ran off, so we need to treat it like you did, okay? You know, Most people driving around ain't armed. But what's the first thing the police ask you when they pull you over? You got any weapons in the car? Because they treat it like you do. That's why they stand back at your window. So we need to treat these things like a crime has been committed until we know a crime hasn't been committed. That's how they treat you when they pull you over, right? They treat everybody like you might pull out a gun and start bucking off, right? So we need to treat these crime scenes like this because that's what they are, or crime scenes. These ain't homes of disappearing kids. These are damn crime scenes for the most part. You know, most of the time, it's usually the family or it's the closest people to you that has done you harm, right? Strangers, it's very rare that a stranger unalives you. I mean, it happens. There's serial killers out there. There's Kohlberger and stuff like that. And I heard, anybody hear about Kohlberger? That people are threatening to get his butt cheeks in the jail and they haven't been feeding them. So he's trying to get transferred because inmates are threatening to grab his cheeks when he goes to bed at night, threatening to do bad things to him inside the jail, and the police and the guards ain't doing nothing to protect them. Huh. I mean, that's what you get. You should have thought about that before you went to home and killed 4 innocent people. You loser, right? They should let them good people, all them bad people, right in there with you while you sleeping. I mean, that's karma. That's the world getting its revenge. You don't want to get your booty tooken. Don't kill people. Right now, you up in there as a big old target of booty bandits, and they just eyeing your cheeks down. Y'all hear that? That's been in the news today too. I just thought I'd mention that, you know, because I look at Kohlberger like somebody hit me up like Kohlberger was innocent. I was reading their thing and it was kind of long. It was like they wrote me a book on every damn true crime event in the history. They're like, Dolly, I just watched your last video, but I thought I would send you this graphic novel of everything in true crime. And I'm sitting there reading it and reading it and reading it. I read slow. And then I get to the stuff about Kohlberger that there's no evidence against him. He confessed. Okay, he confessed. He took a plea deal. Shit's over with. How can people still think he's innocent? Listen, if I was innocent, I'd never take a plea deal. I would fight it and say I'm innocent. Right? So if you send me something that's like Kohlberger's innocent, I'm looking at like shit like he pled guilty. He's himself pled guilty. And we're pretty confident that he did it. There was like they were like, there's a knife on the stairs, there was a knife on the table that had blood on it. Okay, and you know, I think it's over with. Okay, I don't think he's ever getting out of prison. I think he's done, and he confessed to it. So I mean, I wouldn't confess to no crime I didn't commit. I just wouldn't. You would never get me to say I did it. Because, you know, most of the time they were like, well, he was facing a firing squad. So what? You know, most of the time when they put you to death in this country, they never execute you. It's very rare they execute somebody that they sentence to death. You got better chances having a heart attack and dying in jail than you do getting executed from the prison system in America. Unless you in Alabama. You in Alabama or Texas, you may want to take a deal. But anywhere else, they hardly ever. When's the last time you heard anybody getting executed? It's always Texas. They like to get you in Texas. In Alabama, they'll put your ass in the gas chamber in Alabama. Don't play in Alabama, whatever you do. I know Richie Regal, white trash mofo out of Lancaster, Ohio, tattoo artist and country rap. Okay, I don't know him. I don't know, Jess, but thank you for being a member here 5 months. I don't know what Richie Regal got to do with anything. I've never heard of him. Is he any good at rapping? You said white trash mofo. Is that the good white trash or is that the bad white trash? I don't know how you weigh white trash out. You know, some people may say, yeah, I'm white trash and proud. I don't know if that's a good thing to be, proud of. Isn't he trying to fight the plea deal now? I don't think so. I just know he's trying to get moved because inmates have been threatening to get his cheeks and they haven't been feeding him right in prison. He's mad about he didn't get a banana. It's crazy. It's like, dude, listen, You in prison. All right? You in prison. You don't have the death penalty drive through here in Texas. Pam, you sure do. Isn't he trying to fight the plea deal? Listen, once you take a plea deal, there ain't no fighting that. You plead guilty. You put your name on that paper, you done. You sit there for the rest of your life without the possibility of parole. And the only possibility you got is your cheeks might actually get taken. Okay, you may wake up and somebody be in the cell with you with a stick of butter. Okay, little butter cubes. Anybody see that? Back in the day, they had that HBO special where they had a guy named Treetop. He's like, Treetop told me, he said the best sex he ever had was when he was in the penitentiary. And he was talking about tossing something. We ain't gonna get all graphic here. You know what I'm saying? But he was talking about right. Anybody remember that? Anybody remember that documentary they had, that prison documentary they had on HBO? I still remember it to this day. Yeah, you don't want to, listen, it goes around that F around and find out. Well, he's finding out. Okay. I don't feel sorry for him. Now, listen, there's a lot of people that should be in prison. I think Don Wells, I think before long, listen, when you have tendencies like Don Wells does, of alleged essaying of his younger sister, being arrested for breaking in homes, stealing panties, like basically peeping Tom, stalking kind of stuff. To me, that's signs of a serial killer. Now, I ain't saying Don Wells is a serial killer. I'm just saying he has some serial killer tendencies, right? That's some stuff that BTK would do. Dennis Rader, right? Remember Dennis Rader break in your house, sit in the closet and watch you, and then sometimes he'd come out and kill people, and he would steal their panties and just weird, crazy stuff like that, or tie you up with your shoestrings. To me, that's the kind of tendencies that Don Wells has. And it won't be long before Don Wells, I believe, is back in jail, something else related to being a sexual deviant. All right. I don't know what that'll be, and I hope it ain't nothing bad. I don't want to see Don, nobody out here get hurt. But this dude, he's been a criminal his whole life. He's going to continue to do weirdo stuff because he's a weirdo. Okay, now, a couple days ago, Court TV, right, which is good, went over to Summer Wells' case. So it's good to see Summer Wells back out in the spotlight, and people hasn't forgot the little girl. And let me check how many if we hit the our goal to give this hat away. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see where we're at in it. Boom, 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 boom. All right, let's see. Okay, we're at 7. I'll do it at 10. Okay, I got it set for 20, but we'll do it at 10. I'll sign this hat, give it away. All right, if we make it to 10. All right, so let's jump into this.
Interested in finding the answers. Here's the story. A missing child alert ripples across the town and everything changes. Police admit they need help. No witnesses, no clear direction, and a parent's inconsistent account.
Wait a minute.
The community doesn't wait. Volunteers gather at churches and school gyms, signing maps, checking terrain, forming search teams. Mothers who never met the family bake food for the searchers. Teenagers live stream updates, pushing the story beyond the town limits. Podcasters pick it up within hours, analyzing the last known moments, urging listeners to look, to share, to refuse complacency. Within a day, millions online know the child's name. Every drone launched, every TikTok viewed, every tip phoned in becomes part of a collective promise. We will not stop looking. We will not let this child be forgotten. All hour, we've been taking a look at missing children. And we continue that with the next child. Let's bring back in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas. Let's talk about one that touched the hearts of a lot of people, and it's a mystery that seems like it should have been solved years ago. Summer Wells. What do we know about this young girl?
Well, Vinny, just 5 years old, up in Tennessee, went missing in her own home. Now, they say that she was outside helping her mom and grandma in the garden, helping them plant flowers. She got done with that, wanted to go back inside and play with toys. Mom and grandma came in. Summer was nowhere to be found, which is just scary to even think about something like that. But Vinny, we've constructed a timeline of June 15th of 2021 to June 14th of 2024. Now, June 15th is when she was reported missing. So we can walk through that timeline here right now. June 15th, Summer Wells was reported missing around 6:30 p.m. Last seen outside her home. June 17th, 2021. The search expands to cover a 1-mile radius surrounding Summer's home. June 26th, 2021. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation looks for a red Toyota pickup seen in an area near where Summer disappeared. July 26, 2021, a month later, Summer's brothers are removed from the home by the Department of Children's Services. October 31st, 2021, Don Wells, that is Summer's father, he's arrested for driving under the influence. February 4th, 2022, Summer's 6th birthday. February 4th, 2023, Summer's 7th birthday. June 14th, 2023, the TBI releases these age-progressed photos of Summer Wells, what she would look like at the current time. February 4th, 2024, Summer's 8th birthday, and June 14th, 2024, the TBI releases a video update in Summer Wells' case. But Vinny, to no avail, there is still no sign of this baby girl, of her remains, or anywhere of her whereabouts.
So we talk about location. I know a big part of the story was the home. That's the place where she was last seen. What do we know about the home?
All right, I'll tell you, Vinny. It is a shack on the top of a steep ass hill that would burn your legs up walking up it. It's not gravel good. It's messy. The yard is messy. They could clean it up a little bit better. Yeah, it's like a termite's paradise. Okay. It's like the Hilton for termites.
So Vinny, last seen June 15th, 2021, and a friend of the network, Chris McDonough, who we've had on the program several times, actually did a walkthrough in the home alongside Summer's mother. Take a look at this.
Them three were sitting right here in front with their eyes glued.
Okay, like, look, you see how you see this now? Where Candace is standing. Now, there's pipes that run right through where she's standing. Like, if you can hang your clothes on them like this, and they go into the sink. See the sink right there? To the left of where she's standing is the bathroom with the little tiny ass shower that Don was taking showers in. And then over here is a hole in the floor that you go down, and it takes you into the downstairs basement.
The TV, like always. I said, boys, where's your sister at?
That's the pantry, okay? You see the toilet paper rolls? Right there's their little pantry. All right, they didn't have all this stuff in the kitchen when I was there. Believe it or not, the kitchen was clean. It was really clean. There was a hole in the floor covered with a board. But like I said, that the pipes are busted. So they ran pipes on the outside of the walls, and the pipes are hanging down in the kitchen. Like plastic PVC pipes.
Well, she just went downstairs along the play. So I went over here like this, because this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually down under there.
Oh, down into her
Down into
bedroom.
Our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled and I said,
Hey, this makes sense now, see? That just don't make no damn sense. You think Chris McDonough's house looks like that? Oh, now this makes sense. I get it. I agree with you. I agree with you, Candace. This all makes sense.
Summer. And she didn't. I listened for a minute. I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this. This is how I would get down here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to come down here or not.
Do I got to be tiny to get in there?
No, you should.
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but make more
Stop being a puss. Climb down them stairs. Candace will let you touch the mullet.
sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you. Oh, man. Oh, good grief,
No,
girl.
if my 6-foot husband can fit down here, you can.
Huh?
My husband's 6 foot. I know if he can fit, you can.
This should... Oh, my gosh. Way to go.
This is my husband's room.
Okay.
Look, I think they're watching porno on the TV. I'm not for sure.
And over here, well, it's a mess again.
That's all right.
But this is where Summer and little Waylon was, because Waylon's only 9.
Okay.
And they stayed down here. And these are all her toys, all her Paw Patrol. I searched, I looked up underneath the beds under there. We can't really get on. I can't get under there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I looked under there, looked under every blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then I come over here.
PJ says it was Girls Gone Wild. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's why they had it blurred.
And I looked on one side, I didn't see underwear. And I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, I mean, it's hard on me. But I know I did come out there and I said, Summer, because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play just for, you know. And usually when she comes out and she goes directly that way up to the swing.
Oh, okay. So this is like her.
Yeah, she
where
just
she
walks.
come running out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can see the path
Just go
here.
right to the swing.
Right. You can see where she could have run.
So Vinny, that gives us a little insight into the structure of the home. And actually there towards the end, we see that it's kind of a rural area. There's plenty of woods out there. They are still unsure whether Summer wandered off, whether someone abducted her, but that gives us a little sneak peek into what the area may or actually did look like.
Yeah, and if you
Now, here's my thing. Now, if it was a loving home and people, gave a damn about the kids, a messy house don't mean much, right? It's the fact that, the dad's out smoking crack and the moms are drunk, right? You can live in a not a nice house and it still be a loving, caring home. You can live in a box and it be a home if there's love. When you take out that love and you add all that dysfunctionalness to it, then it's just a house. It's not a home. Okay, kids need homes. They need somewhere that there's love and caring and compassion and those things. Like, we're going to talk about Sebastian Rogers in a little bit. Chris and Katie live in a $800,000 home, but it's not a home. It's a house, because I don't think there's much love was going on in that house. And you got to have love inside them walls for it to be a home. And none of that, I believe, in my opinion, was there, just like this place. Just because it's a shack, you add a little bit of love and caring and good parents to that, you could perfectly raise your children right there on that hill. But you add a fifth of liquor every day and a crack stem, and now we're talking a different situation. These people made enough money to fix that house and have that place cleaned up, and they didn't even care. Like, even when they took the boys, they could have got rid of the vehicles. They did clean up the inside of the house, but they didn't get rid of the school bus or the cars. All you had to do was call a junk man and say, "Hey, come get this shit," and they would have came and got it and scrapped it. So they didn't care. They wasn't concerned about the kids. Not enough that they were going to put an effort to keep them or to get them.
and she goes into the house, there's a way to get out of the house without people in the front seeing her. Now, what's the current status of the investigation?
Well, Vinny, police say they are still fervently following leads. This investigation, this search is still ongoing, really as recent as a few weeks ago. And Vinny, we also have pictures. I mentioned those age-progressed pictures released by the TBI. This is what they created here. Of course, that's a real picture of Summer on the left, but on the right is what she may look like now. She'd be around 9 years old, 8 to 9 years old, just for anyone who may have seen her.
I hate to inform you, dude, on Court TV, but I think she looks like a pile of bones or scattered bones by now. I don't think Summer Wells is out there. I truly don't. Like, nobody has seen her. There's never been a sighting of her. There ain't never been a rumor of a sighting of her. Nothing. You know, if you want to age progress picture, I hate to say it, you need some, needs to be some bones. You know, and this picture of Summer looks like she's like 14. Right? I get age progression photos. She's going on 10. I mean, she looks like she's damn 16 in this picture that they show of her. That's just
her may know where she is, where her whereabouts are. This is what the point of putting this picture out was, because no one's seen her in 4 years. This is just what she may look like. But again, police are still very, very much so involved in the search, involved in the investigation to figure out where she may be.
All right. Thanks so much, Cody. Brings us to the next question in our investigation about this young girl. Where is Summer Wells? Let's bring in our guest here to help answer the question. You know who we're bringing in, right? Former homicide detective Chris McDonough, who walked through that house, spent a lot of time on the story. He's also the host of The Interview Room with Chris McDonough. Been investigating this case for years. And also joining us, Pascal, the host of the Pascal Show, has also been following this story as well. All right.
Pascal still, I didn't even know he was still a YouTuber. The guy like Pascal. I like Pascal. I didn't know he followed the Summer Wells case.
Chris, I'll begin with you. What are your thoughts about where is Summer Wells?
You know, Vinny, that is the million-dollar question, right? However, statistically, if we go by what we call the victim risk continuum, everything points towards a very low-risk victim here, meaning the last time she was seen was by her mother being escorted into the house. And then, of course, she just vanishes. And it was interesting when I did go into that house and you see it there, that is not necessarily, you know, they call it a bedroom, but I got to be honest with you, Vinny, that's a dungeon. And I had a really hard time believing that a 5-year-old little girl just arbitrarily would go down there to play. And the most interesting thing that jumped out at me almost immediately is Mom has told various different stories. One, that the door was locked. Both the parents have said that. And then in this particular video, she made it a point to point out to me that the door was open.
Here's the thing. It don't matter if the door is locked or unlocked. Summer Wells could unlock the door if she wanted to get out the door. Summer Wells climbed trees. She was a little redneck kid, running around barefoot in the woods and creeks. And like, I don't think that has nothing to do with it. And if you live somewhere, I'm sure Summer did play in that basement. That was her home. That's all she knew, right? She didn't know no different. That was another room to her. To me, it's, you know, it is pretty gloomy, right? But a dungeon, it ain't a dungeon. Okay. I disagree with that. It is really the first floor. Okay. It ain't a basement. Basements don't lead outside. Basements are underground. That room is not underground. Okay. Let me explain this to you. You know, it's not even tri-level. There's 2 levels to the house, because the house sits on a hill. There's one level. She went downstairs. You seen her walk right out the back door, right? If you're in a basement, there's no back door. You can't walk out of a basement. You can't walk out of a dungeon. Okay. And it's a glass door too. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4 windows down there. And they're all on the front side of the house. Well, the right side of the house. Well, if you're walking up from the hill, it's on the front of the house. So it has 4 little windows, and some of those windows are broke. But it's not in the basement. You can walk right outside. It's at ground level. Then if you walk up the hill, you can walk into the top level, and that's on ground level. All right, because you can walk in the front door and you can walk out the back from the bottom. So neither one of the rooms are underground. Okay, a basement is technically underground. A dungeon would most likely be under dungeon-ish. Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's a little like it, if it was underground and didn't have no doors, yeah, it'd be a dungeon. But it's not really technically a dungeon. That's just the truth, because I've been there. It's split level. It's different than that though, because it's like a tri-level home, because a tri-level will be your first floor, right? You would have a part that goes down into the ground, and then you would have an upstairs in a tri-level home. Nina Drew, Dolly Vision super chat, bam. So it's a little different than that. I guess it's split level. You might be right about, but either way, it's both floors are ground level because it's on a hill. So
gave now an opportunity for various types of scenarios.
Yeah. Pascal, your thoughts on this story, which is baffling, right? It seems like this is one that should have been solved at some point, but it hasn't. It's still lingering.
Yeah, this is a very interesting case. I mean, obviously, we're just seeing honestly nothing except for just theories, possibilities, but it just bothers me, like what just Chris just said a second ago, how easily someone could run out through the back, go through that door in the basement or through that house or through the bedroom and easily have access to her or anybody else that may have been in that basement. So yeah, there's just so many questions that haven't been answered. And honestly,
Pascal, any house, if anybody runs through any door, any house, they have access to you. Okay. Pascal, you wouldn't walk up on that property to save your life. If I dropped you off out there, Pascal, you'd be like, hell no. Hell to the nah. I ain't going up in that holler. You ain't doing it. You ain't doing it. You wouldn't go up there. If I dropped you off there right before dark, you would be begging me to get back in the car. You'd be like, come on, Dolly, don't do me like this, right? You were not running up on the hill of no country house. Pascal, you ever been in the country? You don't go up on people's property. You get your ass shot, right? If I broke down out there, I'd be scared to ask for help. I'd be like, I ain't going up there. I'll walk. People don't go up in shit like that. This is in the middle of nowhere on a hill that you got to go through the woods to even get to. Your ass wouldn't go up there. You would not go up there. I know better. You a big ass dude too. And you'd be shook. You'd be like, oh, hell no. Let me back in the car, Dolly. I'd be like, no, I'm like, lock the door on your ass. Take your ass up in the holler if you want to. Them hills have eyes.
the more questions we got, the more speculations get out here. It'd be nice to hear something from local law enforcement, so we can get some idea of where they're getting to, if they're even getting closer to bringing her home.
Yeah. And the thing about these stories, Pascal, is that the public.
Prayers for the missing and lost, says Susan. Thank you, Susan. Yeah. Like, I don't think he understands the of what it is. You know what I'm saying? This ain't some city shit, Pascal. This is some deep wood shit right here. This takes a whole lot of you wouldn't fit in around there. You know what I'm saying? You just wouldn't fit in. You'd be like, I don't know about this one.
Wanting answers and wanting information, it doesn't really wane, right? It's like, I understand cases can go cold, trails can go cold, but people don't forget. And this is one of those stories where no one has forgotten.
Somebody says, this case makes me want to get trackers for my kids. We sell trackers on the Dolly site, buydollysoap.com. We sell tracking devices, GPS stuff, so you can put it in your kids' backpack, book bag. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at Walmart. But we do have them in our store because we want people to have these things. Because if you did, would we be talking about Sebastian Rogers, or would we talk about Summer Wells, or would we be talking about Jack and Lilly? If every parent would spend $20 to get their kid a tracking device, or grandparents, I think they make use an air tracker, best tracking. There you go. Any of that. It's better to have it and not need it Think about this. How much is your kid worth to you or your grandchild worth to you? And like I said, you don't have to buy them from me. You can buy them from Amazon. You can buy them from Walmart. You can buy them from Target. You can buy them just about damn near anywhere now. But I encourage you to get it. And also, Dolly soap is on sale, half price when you use promo code Dolly Rocks. Okay. Buy dollysoap.com. Body washes, lotions. Well, lotions ain't on sale, but my body wash and my soaps for a limited time for the next 10 days are on sale. Make great stocking stuffers, help support the channel. All handmade, all natural soaps, the best stuff in the game. All right. Once you use Dolly soap, you'll never use any other soap. You'll be like, oh, hell nah. But make sure y'all check that stuff out, guys. I got to plug it. Dolly got to eat too. All right.
Not in Summer Wells.
No, they don't. And what's so sad about this is Idle Minds is like the conspirators' plaything, is what I'd like to say. It only leaves more and more conspiracies out there, more and more rumors, more and more speculations, and not a whole lot of facts, especially when we don't have enough out here. Obviously, we all want to know where she is, but it'd be nice to get a few more, just a little bit more information from local PD, just some more facts.
And Chris, how about the family these days? Are they keeping a much lower profile than they did initially?
He don't know. They do not have nothing to do with Chris McDonough. Now, I can tell you this, out of everybody out here, they hate Chris McDonough the worst. I don't know what it is about him, right? And there's a lot of bad people at play in this, that you would think they'd probably hate Dolly's ass, right? They hate Chris McDonough. They absolutely cannot stand this man because I guess, according to them, he came in and promised them the world, that he was going to solve this case and blah, blah, blah. And, me, I think they're guilty of covering it up. I don't think they killed Summer, but I do think they're guilty of a cover up. But the whole half the time I was there with them, sitting in the house, they were talking shit about Chris McDonough, how he's a shitbag. Now, of course, if you're a criminal, you're going to think the lawman is a shitbag. I'm never really been big on the police myself, especially YouTube police. I don't know. I came from the, F the police era. I've never been a big police fan. And I think, the reason I give Chris McDonough is a hard time is because he's the police. And I don't like the police. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust you. You're in the biggest gang in the world. You crooked ass crooks, right? You probably ran over John O'Keefe. I'm kidding. I just don't like the police. So when people be like, well, what you got against Chris McDonough? It's badge. Okay. I don't like him. Every traffic ticket I got by was an asshole cop like this dude. All them traffic tickets I done paid. That's why I don't like him. There you go. You want the truth?
Because I know you spent time there. You spoke with everyone.
Yeah, no, in fact, I talked to the family today, Don's sister, actually, and she told me that Don and Candace have both gone underground, that they've even been trying to get hold of him. TBI's even been trying to get hold of him, and she told me that that's been a difficult task. So why that's occurring, I don't have that answer, but the fact that if this was a stranger abduction, Vinny, and Pascal would know, obviously, is the feds would be heavily involved in this right away, the CARB team, which they were. But then
they're involved now, Chris. Luna, thank you. They're involved now. I mean, the feds just raided a home. 3500 block, Van Hill Road, the feds, TBI, Hawkins County. So the FBI is definitely involved.
Left. And if this is any indication of something else going on, that means she's not moving across the, state lines or anything like that, because that's when they really jump into this and they weigh.
We only got 810 likes. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Somebody tell me he's lying. I like Pascal. I just don't like the police. I don't know. I guess I'm from a different time frame. I don't know. I mean, I don't got nothing personal against Chris McDonough. I just don't find him. Like I've tried to watch him. I just don't find him very entertaining. I guess would be the thing for me. Personally, I ain't got nothing against the guy, but I just like when I watch people, I got to be a little bit entertained. Like it's kind of like I'm an old man, but he got old man vibes to me. You know what I'm saying? Which ain't nothing wrong with being an old man. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I like people a little more entertaining, a little more lively. More blood flowing through their veins. Awesome says same, Dolly. I fall asleep listening to him. Yeah, I mean, I come to YouTube for entertainment mostly, right? Like entertain me, bitches. You know what I'm saying? I need to take my mind off things. I like to chill, relax, watch, stuff. And you got to be able to keep my attention. Like I could probably put you on at night and go to sleep. So for all you people out there that didn't like my damn video, I'm about to rage quit on y'all.
And the resources. But most recently, there was a search, about 0.8 of a mile or 9 miles away from her house. And the evidence team was there, not the card team. So that may also lean us into, something else going on here. Somebody had to have access to that property. This kid just didn't disappear from that basement randomly by a stranger.
All right.
I agree with him on that. Right. I 100% agree with Chris McDonough on that. Right. A stranger didn't go up there like, how Pascal said somebody could just run up there and have access to that door. Well, you got to think about this, Pascal. Anybody can run up to any house and go through the door and have access to you. You got to make that make sense. I mean, but most people live in a decent neighborhood where you wouldn't be scared to walk around, in this place. You wouldn't just be strolling through there. Right. I mean, you could, you just wouldn't fit in very well out there in them hollers with these people, and I guarantee you they'd be, they'd have eyes on you. they'd have eyes on you quick out there. I'd be like, I'm a white man and I'm scared to be out there. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to stay on that story. Obviously, anything develops. Pascal, thanks so much. Great to see you. Have a great Thanksgiving. Make sure you check out the Pascal Show on YouTube. It's amazing. Coming up next, where is Sebastian Rogers?
Boom. Okay. Well, that's a good transition there, because as soon as we're done with this story right here, we're jumping into a little bit of the Sebastian Rogers stuff too. Now, who's talking? Like we watch Michelle After Dark. They think Randy may have told on himself and they found the truck. But Randy that day when he gave that tip to Ziggy, he was saying he seen him and not in his truck. Of course, if he's out there working, they're going to see a red truck in the area if he's driving a red truck, right? But does that have anything to do with it? Now, is it a case where he was out there and he did do something? And how would somebody know about the hills? Okay. Because I don't know exactly how he's kin to Paul Hill, but I know their family. Why would he tell on his family? Right. So I don't think Randy is the person talking. We got to look at who's new that has recently came into this picture. Of course, Ziggy married Fred Hill, which that's pretty new. But, she seems to cover for the Hills. She's on Team Hill for sure. So I doubt Ziggy would tell on any of the Hills. And then, like I said, the only other new person in the game is that person that Candace has been sleeping with. And did he drop a little bug into the FBI's ear and they took it credible because Candace was sleeping with him? And she gets drunk and she starts to ramble things. And did she say something? My biggest thing for all the sleuths out there that we need to find out is we need to find out how Don Wells and Candace are connected to Paul Hill. Now, is it through Fred? Most likely it is. We need to find out if there is an actual connection to Don Wells, because he did get pulled over on Van Hill Road for that DUI. And we need to find out if Candace actually goes on that property and if Don has ever been on that property. That's what we need to know, right? So all these people out here sleuthing, that's what they should be sleuthing, trying to connect Don to the Van Hill Road, trying to connect Candace to Van Hill Road, or even Grandis. Anybody from that hill, we need to connect them to there. We know we can connect Fred because that's his family. We know we can connect Randy because that's his family. Andy B possibly, but Andy B's like this is great uncle or some shit like that. So he may not be like, just because you family don't mean you family, right? I got family I don't fuck with, never talk to them, don't go around them. You know what I'm saying? Don't even know them. Like I was saying earlier, I got a brother in Alabama who owns a hot dog stand. I ain't never met the dude in my life. So I just know he owns a hot dog stand. Building that sells gourmet hot dogs. So I'm just saying, so just because you family like Andy B don't mean Andy B knows Paul Hill. He may be related to him, but don't, like, I got a cousin down the street. I don't never see him. He owns a screen renting shop. I don't never talk to him. But we're family. I don't know. I couldn't tell you shit about the guy. You know what I'm saying? Well, little things. I could tell you little things, but not nothing like recently. Like if you were like, well, what's your cousin been doing? I'd be like, well, fuck if I know. I got a cousin, he's a teacher down the street. I don't never see him, I may have to pop in on him. He was pretty cool when we were young. And he looks like a really fat version of me now. I seen a picture of him on Facebook the other day. I was like, that looks like a fat ass Dolly. All right. This is what, if Dolly keeps eating, this is what I'm going to look like. All right. And I was like, all right, he's family. I might actually look like this dude one day. Let me stop picking on him. But now he's a cool guy. But he does look like a swolled up ass version of me. I was like, dude, he looks like me, but swolled up. Didn't miss a meal Dolly, what we call him. I'm kind of getting chubby. He's a chunky version. He's like the chunky monkey section. Okay. So anyway, that's what we need to find out in the Summer Wells case. So anybody can sleuth up that information. That's what we need. Do your homework. Homework tonight is we need to find out how Don Wells, Candace Wells, is connected to Van Hill Road. And that may give us some answers. I know there's rumors, but we need something solid. Candace fishes there. Do we got any proof she fishes there? Don Wells got his DUI on that road. That's a long ass road. Did he pull out that driveway and get a DUI? We need something concrete, right? We need something solid, and we don't have that yet. So armchair detectives out there, we need to find this out. All right. That's your homework for tonight. Go around all the internet people and find out how Don and Candace is connected to that damn house. Dolly, how many super chats for the hat giveaway, please? Let me check. I said I would do it at 10. We are at 9. Okay. We are at 9 right now. So if we hit 10, I will give it away and I will sign it. Okay. So I will give it away and sign it at 10, which ain't bad. Okay. You get my great autograph hat that I made. I made that this morning. I was sitting around bored. I was like, I need me a new hat. And I made this one. And then I thought, well, as soon as I wear this, people are going to be like, I like that hat, Dolly. I want one. So I made 2, one to give away. I may throw some in the mystery boxes, but they're limited. You can't buy them. I'm just giving them away. Don's dad married a Gold. Wasn't she related to the Hills? I don't know. I don't know. Dolly, I'm late, but here. Okay. So y'all got y'all's homework for tonight. And like I said, if we hit 10, I'll sign that hat, give it away. I might make a few more and I will throw, I tell you what, the next 5 large mystery boxes, I'll throw one in there. Or a mouse pad. I made some mouse pads too. I'll throw both of them in there. So the mouse pad has the same design on it, but it's on a mouse pad for your. I don't even got one in here. I made it sitting in my living room. I was bored this morning. I started making shit, and I was printing T-shirts and hats, and I was like, "Oh, let me make something, right?" And so these are what I made. Because I got up late last night. I've been up since like I don't know, like I slept in, so I got up at like midnight. So I've been up ever since. So it's almost nap time for me here shortly. All right, let's get into the Sebastian Rogers stuff. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers missing Hendersonville. Another weird case where the parents were home, the mother home, and the kid just vanishes. But what I find so hard to believe is this. Unless Katie was doing a little bit of sipping of the wine, like, you know, sometimes women like to do at night. And because, you know, they had those little dogs. Now, I got 2 little dogs. Well, I got a little dog and a medium dog. I got a Chihuahua and we got a Frenchie. Okay. And I got to go get him some eardrops and just some Alba. Boom. There we go. So matter of fact, I'll do the hat giveaway now. All right. So everybody that super chat, make sure you thank them, because now this is the actual image that's on the hat, but this is a big version of it. All right. Like t-shirts. But it has a little halo. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but tell me that ain't a pretty picture with the little angel wings. And I got, like I said, large mystery boxes. I got to throw a hat in it and a mouse pad, because I made a hat and a mouse pad. The same logos on it. I was just bored. So, and of course, your box will come with your soaps, your lotions, your body washes, and I'll throw one of those hats in for the first 5 orders of the large boxes. Okay. Not the small boxes, but the large boxes. That is a pretty picture of summer. I thought so too. So it took me a lot of tries to get this picture right, but I thought it was really pretty. So I may even send a couple of them to Ben Hill Road, see if Don and Candace will wear them. You know what I'm saying? If they don't, we know they did it. We know they're guilty if they don't wear a damn hat, right? We're like, okay, why ain't you supporting your own kid, right? So, hold on, I'm ringing. All right, producer. Hello? Was my producer. She said she's reached out to Don and Candace Wells. All right. It is Christmas time, you know, and listen, I want to make sure I say this, because I've been a little hard on Don and Candace, because, you know, I still think they the culprits. But this is all allegedly. I have no proof that these people did anything. All right. And they're humans. So it's the holidays coming up. Well, not right now, so I can talk shit about them. But here in a couple of weeks, I can't, because near Christmas, I don't talk bad about people. You know what I'm saying? I don't. And on their birthdays and certain days, there's certain times that you won't hear Dolly speculating or blaming anybody or doing those things. I don't do it. Right. So I want to make it clear, because it is, getting close that time, that there's no proof these people did anything. And they're humans, even though we think they're guilty of covering up a crime. That don't mean that they are. I want to make sure I say that. And PJ sent me this picture because I wasn't able to show y'all what everything looked like, the hats that we're about to give away. So it's probably better to see a picture of it than me try to hold it in front of the camera. But there are the hats. The black one is the one I'm wearing now. I only made one black one. And the pink one, because I made that one for PJ, but technically I'm giving it away and I'll make her another one. Right. I still got the prints right here. So I'll make her another one, and I'm giving that one away. So, like I said, we're going our mystery boxes. I got 5 more pink hats, and I will throw them in the mystery box for free. So when you buy a mystery box, it comes with soaps, lotions, body wash, our soaps. And then we throw some free gifts in there, like, I don't know, PJ socks and gloves, and sometimes there's beanies in the wintertime. She makes a bunch of different stuff, but just random things I make, we'll throw in there. And so I'll do 5 more of these hats and the mouse pad. See the little white mouse pad? And they'll be for the first 5 people that order a large mystery box. I will throw that in with it as a gift. All right. We don't sell it, so you can't buy it. So that's the only way you can really get it, is we give it away, because we don't sell nothing with missing kids on it. So now that y'all have seen that, let's do the giveaway. All right, let's do the giveaway. I got to find something to write on right here. All right, this piece of paper right here. That ain't the number. That's a number from Turtle Island. All right, so it's not that number. It ain't 3. But it's the only piece of paper I had. All right, listen. There's 1,000 people in the room. PJ, can you put on a slow real quick before we start this? Because with that many people in the room, it's gonna be hard for me to see it. Now, let me explain something to you. You may get the number right, all right, but it's the first time I see the number, because it's going to move so fast that you may say it and somebody else may say it, blah blah blah, and it's going to be hard for me to see it. But the first time I see the number, that's the winner. Okay. You may have said it 15 times before that I see it, but it's the first person I see that says it. Okay. So with that said, we're going to pick numbers from 0 to 125. And the first person to get the number right wins the hat, and I will sign it, and we will ship it off to you. All right. All right. Ready, set, go. I mean, I haven't seen it yet. Got it right there. Diane 5847. All right. The number was lucky number 7. I don't know if you can see that. It's little, but it's a damn 7. Trust me. See it right there? It's a little 7. Lucky number 7 was it. So I think your name is Diane. Is that it? I can't see it. All right, but you are the winner. Let me tell you how you collect it. All right. You got to send PJ a message that says, PJ, do you want them to send it to the store? Or do you want them to send it straight to you? Send it to the store. Best soap in the game. Okay. Best soap in the game at gmail.com is the email, right? Best soap in the game at gmail.com. Put Dolly, I won the summer hat. All right. And make sure you include your name and contact information, right? Send us your address so I can mail it out to you. And if you want it signed, let me know and I'll sign it for you. I usually sign it right here on the bill so you can still wear it. Nobody see my ugly ass signature because, of course, you're going to want to wear the hat. It's a pretty hat. It's cute, right? Look at little Summer. And I'll sign that for you. And congratulations. All right. Like I said, I think I have 5 more of these pink hats. They're not printed yet, but I'll print them. And like I said, I'll throw them into the large mystery boxes, the first 5, with a mouse pad. Okay. Cause I got a bunch of mouse pads. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with mouse pads. So, I don't sell them, but I will throw them in the box. So if you get a large mystery box, it'll have a hat and a Summer Wells damn mouse pad in it. Of course. And you'll get the amount of lotions and soaps that equal up to the mystery box. So thank you for that. That was pretty easy. I thought it was going to take a long time, but it didn't. So make sure best soap in the game. Make sure you let us know who you are, that you won the hat, your address, all that good stuff. Do you have hats like that for Jack and Lilly? No, I don't. I just made the summer hats. I was actually going to send a couple of them to Ben Hill Road. I was telling PJ that. I was like, I'll send them to him. You know, people give us a hard time about merch, you know, like people with people's faces and shit on it. So we don't sell it. We just give them away, you know. So we print little things and like bracelets with Summer Wells. We give them away. We give the hats away. We give the shirts away. Now I do sell merchandise, Dolly shit, right? You can buy you a Dolly shirt, a Dolly hoodie, all that stuff, but we don't have anything like this. These are just giveaways. We use mouse pads, short legs, you do. They won't wear them. They have took their screen down. You have made. I know. I can't believe they took that down. I wanted to see how many years it would last, to be honest with you. That's okay. Because we'll put some more up around town. And then you touch them, I'm going to break your fingers. I'll put a trail cam watching them. And then when I see you touch my property, I'm going to come out there and take your fingers off. So we've learned now that them banners hold up. And we need to put more out. So we may do some after Christmas, because you know we're buying people Christmas gifts, and I want to make sure I mention this too. We got our Christmas wish campaign that is going on, right? And I want to explain it to you just in case you're brand new and it's your day one here, right? No, I didn't. I think we got 500 bracelets coming. We forgot all about it. We meant to order like 100 Summer Wells bracelets to give away, and we ordered 500 of them. Oh my God. I forgot to call and everything. Yeah. So there's like 500 of them coming. So what we'll do is just when people order something, we'll just throw it in with your packages. So, but we got like 500 of them coming. Which maybe PJ can fix that still. I don't know. But yeah, we clicked on the wrong button. which sucks because the bracelets are like $1 a piece. They ain't nothing like real expensive, but we meant to spend $100 and we spent $500. So it sucked, but it is what it is. Ain't the end of the world. But hopefully PJ can fix that, because what we were going to do is order a bunch of Turtle Gang ones, like, because we ran out of those too. We used to have the Dolly Vision Turtle Gang ones that were in green, and we were going to get some of the Summer Wells to give away, and we were going to get some of the Dolly Vision green ones to put back on our site. And because we don't make the wristbands, we make everything else, but we don't make the wristbands. And I'm bringing back some Dolly shades, so there'll be some sunglasses in the merch store. We only sell stuff with like our name on it. We don't sell nothing with nobody else's name on it. So, but if we do have stuff like that with other people's stuff on it, we give it away, right? Just to spread awareness. That's how we help spread awareness, is we give some of that stuff away. And I was going to give 100 of them away, which, hits me like a hundo, which ain't the end of the world, right? But when we clicked on the wrong button and ordered 500 of them, we're like, well, what the hell are we going to do with 500 Summer Well bracelets? So, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it. You love your Dolly shades? Yeah, well, we're bringing back some shades, some embroidered beanies. Now, these things I'm not going to make. So they're going to be premium priced because I don't make it. And even when I make it, I still, my stuff is pricey because my time is valuable to me. So, you gotta know your worth in this world, but they'll be a little pricey because I'm going to have to order those. So I'm going to order some beanies with like, what do they call it? Embroidered. That say Dolly Vision and got a cool little logo and shit on it. And I'm going to do some sunglasses. Uh-oh. Phone call. Hello? What did she write back? Breaking news. Breaking news. So, spoke with Candace. She says she does not fish at that fishing hole. Okay? Has never fished there. Not her fishing hole. And she has left YouTube and don't want to be bothered. All right? Breaking news. So, she said nobody on YouTube is real. Okay? I just think YouTube don't see it the way you want people to see it. Like, listen, I don't hate Don and Candace. I mean, I ain't their best friend or their BFF or nothing like that. And I'm suspicious of them. But, I do think that they're human, and I treat people as they're human. And she says she doesn't fish there. Now, I could always lie and be like, yeah, Candace be fishing there. But she said she don't. Now, sleuths find out that she's lying. All right, let's see if we can place Candace there, because she openly said she's never been there. She don't fish. Well, she said she don't fish there, is what she said. Yeah, why disappear now? I don't get it. I don't get the disappearing now thing. Okay. Just coming in. Are you and PJ coming for the tree lighting in Kingsport Saturday? No. No, we're not. If I come to Tennessee, I only come to Tennessee to search for Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers. You got to remember, guys, I'm 6.5 hours from Kingsport. All right. And I go down there so much that, but I wish everybody the best that goes to the tree lighting, and Merry Christmas to everybody. And, but if I come, I come to look. I don't, LL, she don't fish there anymore, right? Red flags. Hey, Dolly, you are amazing with summer wells. I tried my part. You knew my part in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been down there so much looking for summer wells, and I'm 6.5 hours from there. You know, you got to drive through all the way across Virginia into the mountains of Tennessee, and then so it's a good 6.5 hours ride for me every time I do it. So you figure there and back, you're talking 13-hour trip. It's pretty good ways too. So will I be down there? No, I don't want to, tell you something and I won't be there. I wish I could be. If it was closer, of course, I would, I would love to see that. She said she never fished there, Dolly. She didn't say that right. Okay, well, she's never fished there. I don't want to, that's what she says. That's why I told the people out here, see what y'all can do. See what you can find out. Because she's saying she don't fish there and they don't have no connection to that hill. And of course, I'm surprised she wrote back. Of course, I'll still send Don and Candace a big thing of dog food like I do every year. So she'll probably get 50 pounds of dog food or something like that. Cause they got dogs up there on that hill. I ain't even been back to look. I just know they do. So I'm human, and every Christmas I try to do something. Even if I talk about you, I try to do something for you. And, last year we bought Don and Candace a bunch of puppy food. We bought them a bunch of dog food, and we had it delivered to their house from Walmart. And then they got mad at me and said I was trespassing. They had me on camera. I can tell you now, I don't work for Walmart. I'm nowhere near Tennessee, right? I'm fucking 7 hours away. Y'all talking about they got me on camera and they're going to get me locked up for trespassing, right? But I guarantee you they fed them dogs that food. They didn't send the food back, right? So this year we'll do the same thing. We'll send them a bunch of food for the dogs because listen, we don't want the dogs to starve, right? We don't. Now let me get back to that. Dog food, Jesus Christ. Yeah, we sent them what, 60 pounds of dog food, and then we sent them like 30 pounds of puppy food. So we sent them almost 100 pounds of food for the dogs last year. And I was going to do it again, but I forgot. My bad. Poor dog. He's probably been fucking starving for 6 months. But we I don't care what they say. Right? I don't care if they like me or dislike me. I'm still going to send them dog food. You know what I'm saying? And some Summer Wells hats. You know what I'm saying? So even if they like me, don't like me, I try to do what I can do for people. So let me explain how our Christmas wish works. All right, we have a Give, Send, Go that you can donate to, right? And my mods will post that link. Love that, Dolly, for the doggies. Yeah, right. We're going to hook the doggies up no matter what. So we buy at least 3 families Christmas every year, live here a week before Christmas. We come up here live. We pull up their Amazon wish lists. I buy all the big items on it. And then some of you guys buy items on the wish list too. And I think last year we helped at least 5 families last year. But we always shoot for 3, right? At least 3. And if there's money left over, we help until we run out of money is how we do it. So you can donate. And when you donate to Give, Send, Go, it's not like a super chat. I don't see it, right? Because I'm not always checking it. So if you do donate to it, throw stop signs in the chat and be like, Dolly, I donated so I can personally thank you. Okay. Because you're going to help a family this Christmas. If you have extra, if you're struggling, don't worry about it. You need your money, right? But if you have a little extra, $5, $10, $20,000, no, I'm just kidding. Donate that. And if you're a family that is struggling, this is real important. This is the most important part. You got to send PJ an email, and her email is pjvision22@gmail.com. Say it with me. pjvision22@gmail.com. Now, these are the 3 things you need. And if you don't get this right, we skip right over your email. You need to tell us why you're struggling. If you're a single mother and you just paid the rent and you don't got money to buy your kid Christmas, or if you just lost your job, you broke a hip, you grew a 3rd nipple out your neck. I don't know. Whatever situation has got you in a bad place. Let us know that. Now, we don't need your whole damn life story. Don't go back to when you were 7 and you broke an ankle and you had to get Forrest Gump legs, but now you walk straight. We don't need to know all that. We need to know what's going on with you this year. Okay. This year. That's it. We don't want to know about your childhood trauma when you was 14. We don't need none of that. Okay. That's the problem is people are writing these books about, well, when I was 3, I was born with like 1 ear. Okay. Like we don't need that. Okay. Not the 3rd nipple, right? This is what we need. We need what's going on with you right now. All right. That's it. You're a single mother. And listen, I prefer single moms. All right. If you're a single mother out there struggling, listen, I grew up with a single mother. I know how hard it is. That's why I want to do that to help single mothers. Let us know what's going on. Send us a picture of the kid. All right. We want to know what kid we're helping. And already have an Amazon wish list of what the kid wants for Christmas. Now, if you got a brand new microwave up there or you want a damn new sofa, we know a kid don't want that. Okay. So make it something good. Now, if you ain't struggling and you're getting by, don't send us nothing because there's people out here that really need the help. And we don't want people that need a little bit of help, but we want the people that need a lot of help. Like we broke, like there ain't Christmas without you. We want them mothers. Okay. So don't take away from somebody that's really in need, people. Right. I'm telling you, if you do it, you're going to have a bad 2026. You're going to get voodoo cursed and it's going to be a hex on you and you're just going to have shitty luck. Okay. So don't take advantage of it. Be like, well, Dolly, buy my kid Christmas. I ain't got to buy nothing. Don't do that. Please don't do that because what that does is it takes away from a family that really needs it. All right. And like I said, we can only help a few families. We can't help everybody. So it's important that people that don't need the help don't be just like, okay, let me see what I can get out free out of Dolly. No, because this is everybody in the chat making this possible. That's why we have the Give, Send, Go. And we want to make sure that the people we help really need it. And that wouldn't have Christmas without us. We did the same thing for Thanksgiving. We were able to raise 15 meals. Okay. So that's turkeys, pies, dressing, everything, the whole works for 15 families this year. That's the most we've ever been able to do. Right. And some people are like, 15 ain't a lot. 15 is a lot for us. And thank you to everybody who gave to that and made that possible because you made people's day, right? You put smiles on not just one person, but families' faces. Kids had a good meal. I posted a comment in the Facebook group where people can post their Amazon wish list yesterday. Okay, y'all see that? So if you ain't joined the Dolly Vision Facebook group yet, make sure you do that because PJ posts a comment. And then people can go in and if they want to buy you something, they can buy you something that's in the group. All right. So we don't even count those people. We only count the 3 that we help live here and whatever we do here. PJ helped a bunch of people last year on that. Now I'm going to be watching the bank cards this year because she spent a lot of money last year. So, but get that stuff in. It's important. Okay. You never know. And listen, if we don't pick you, I apologize in advance, right? It's like I said, it's selective. It's just one of those things. We can only pick so many people, and there's so many people I know that need help. So, it sucks, right? Especially when you're helping people and there's people that need help and you can't help them. But like I said, I'm just letting y'all know now what we can do, and we do the best that we can. So if we don't pick you, don't get upset with me or nothing like this. I wish more YouTubers would do this, okay? Especially for the community, because there's so many true crime channels. Like, just think about it like this. If we help 3 to 5 families, and then the next YouTube channel helps 3 to 5 families, and the next one, you're talking all kinds of families helped in our community, in the true crime community. But I mean, some people do toys for tots and stuff like that. I like to see where our help goes, you know. I like just to follow up pictures of, on Christmas and the kids opening their toys, and I like to see it. And when you give to like some charities, you don't get to see where it goes. And I really like to see what we do. I like to see the help. I like to see the smiling faces. I like that stuff, right? When I see people happy, it makes me happy that I could do my part to put that smile on your face. And I need all you guys to help me do that, right? It ain't just me. It's the help of all of us. Just like Thanksgiving, me and PJ, we did 4 families, and you guys did 11 families. And you remember, we were like, our plan is to help 3, and we were able to do 15. So I was so proud of you guys that stepped up and was like, just like, hey, Dolly, because we didn't even plan on letting people sponsor families like that. That was new. But I think that's the way to do it, because people are like, hey, I want to buy a family Thanksgiving. When people see me doing it, they were like, hey, I want to do that too. And then it just kept going and kept for like days. We were buying 3 families a day for like a week straight, Thanksgiving dinner, and having Walmart deliver it to their house, right? Just like we're going to do the dog food for Don and Candace Wells, right? People are like, don't do it, Dolly. But listen, I love animals. That's one thing I don't know y'all know about me, is I love animals. PJ does too. Like when we go on vacation stuff, we go to the zoo, we go anywhere there's animals. We go to farms and pet the goats and all the pigs, and we just like animals. We're animal people, right? So anything I can do to help the little doggies, I like to do, right? And there may be some stuff we do in the future that'll help. Like I want to help a little bit to my area's SPCA to give back to the pets a little bit. So we may do some type of, not right now, but sometime after Christmas, we may do some where we set it up to where we donate to the local. I know you can donate to the SPCA up here, but I want to donate it to my local SPCA. I want to go up there and give it to them and video it and take it in there and be like, here, this is what we raised to help the dogs here. Because I like to see it. I like to see the difference it makes, just like the Christmas stuff. I want to see what the dogs that are going to be helped. I just like that. It gives me a good warm feeling. So with that said, back to Sebastian Rogers. All right, Sebastian Rogers, same kind of case that kind of went down with the Summer Wells. His mother was home. She heard a thud in the middle of the night. Everybody remembers the thud, right? And she didn't go check on Sebastian, which people found that to be a huge red flag, right? Like most people would say, well, if I heard a thud coming out of my kid's room, I would go check. Now, Katie made it out to be like he's a teenage boy. He may be doing something that teenage boys do, So she didn't go bother to look. That he had hollered out that he loved her and everything was okay. So the thud was basically nothing, right? So, but a lot of people found that odd that she didn't check. And you would think, okay, well, she didn't check. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She didn't check. But then your child, let me take these headphones off. I'll put them back on in a minute. They squeeze my head. Be crushing my little ears, be all like fighter ears. So we give her the benefit out. Let's give her one. Okay. Let's give her a give me. That's a give me, right? Okay. She didn't check on the kid. But then you wake up the next day and the kid is gone. Now, she did say she went looking for Sebastian. She drove around. She got in a car. Allegedly, she said she drove to the school or somewhere around the school. Now she comes back. Well, no, while she's gone, just like Don and Candace, Don Wells calls the police. Did y'all know that? Don Wells called the police. Remember they said the mother was out for a run? Don Wells reported Summer Wells missing, even though he wasn't at the house. Candace didn't call the police. Don did, because Candace was on three-way with Don Wells. Same situation in the Chris and Katie. That's why when I was joking about them working together, it would make sense, wouldn't it? Because their stories are so similar in the situations of the kid going missing. So Chris calls the sheriff's office on three-way, but I don't think he was on three-way. I don't think Katie was ever on the phone. Now, this is just my opinion. Chris is probably kicking something in his excavator right now, in his crane. Like, I hate Dolly. All right. But I don't think she was on the three-way. Now, he may call me later or text me later and cuss me out. I don't know. He don't usually talk to me, but I can see it coming. And I believe he called because he told her, go back to the house. The police are coming. If she was on three-way, why would he have to tell her that? Why? You just heard the phone call. Why would you have to go back to the house? All right. And it don't make sense. It does not make sense whatsoever. That here's another. Okay, so we give you that you didn't check on the kid, right? Now I don't think you was on the phone call to the police, that you never called the police. So there's no way for the police, and they didn't actually call the police, they called the sheriff's office. I don't know who sits around with the number to the sheriff, but I don't. Like, usually you would call 911, and when you call 911, it traces the call to the location you're at, which would have been wherever Chris was at and wherever he was working at that what is it, St. Jude's Hospital. So there was no way to track the location of where Katie was actually at. Now, we don't know if anybody left that house that night, but we do know that car left that house that morning. And here's the thing. She was only gone for, some people say a half hour. You know how far you could take somebody in a half hour? And, most of us in true crime, when they search for you, how far do they search? Trivia question. What's their radius that they search for you? Anybody in chat? Let me know. What's the radius of when they're searching for you out there that they actually look? Now, you got to remember, in the amount of time she was gone, she could have got 5 miles. Thank you, iParrot. You're so smart, right? That's my true crimers right there. That's how I know you true crime. Right? That's how we know we family right there. Everybody that put that 5 miles, y'all know the deal. Y'all know the deal. Now, listen, if you get rid of somebody, how far you got to take them? 6 miles. You got to take them at least 6 miles, right? So if you got to off somebody, at least get to the 6 mile mark. Okay. I hate to say that, but you ever seen it? I'm going to put out a t-shirt. I've seen it before, but I'm going to put out a Dolly Vision version. I watch enough true crime that I can get away with murder. All right. So everybody knows they search 5 miles. So all she had to do is take him out of that 5 mile radius and put him somewhere. Now, if that area, it ain't as remote as Kingsport. All right. Hendersonville, it's country, right? But it's not, there is some remote ass parts of it too. But all she had to do is get somewhere that she could put this kid for a short amount of time. if this is the case. Now, I'm not saying she did this. I'm just saying this is a theory. Misty is a new member. Thank you, Misty. Peace, Dolly. Is it really going to be solved? Flo, I hope so. And thank you for being a member for 35 months. All right. And thank you for everybody that's been joining up and becoming members and the super chats. Thank you. And we hit our 10 mark on the super chats. If we get to the 20 mark, which is set at, I'll give the one away I'm wearing. Okay. So, but that ain't no big deal. I kind of like this hat. Okay. So she only had to get them out of the 5 mile radius, right? Out of the 5 mile radius. And then come back home. You know, it's one thing I found really odd, you know, that she parked in the garage that night. And the problem with that is she has a really big driveway. And after Sebastian went missing, she started parking in the driveway because people were going by the house and they were taking pictures. And people were live streaming as they were going by her house. And you could see her vehicle in the driveway. So now that Sebastian's gone, you're going to park in the driveway and not in the garage. Now, let's just say she loaded the kid into the car. Of course, the neighbors wouldn't have seen her if she was inside the carport of her house in the garage. Mimi, Tanya, thank you for being a member, Mimi. Good to have you here this morning. So I don't think I think there's something to that why she parked in the garage that night, but then after that started not parking. Now, this is what I can't give you. And I can't give you the fact that they Joe dirted the kid. While Sebastian was missing, his mother packs up and leaves. Now, she's trying to blame it on, she was getting threats from you. At this point, there was nobody threatening her. There wasn't very many people talking about Sebastian. Only, it did blow up because of Riley Strand. And here, they better be thankful, if you was a real parent of a missing kid, they should be so glad that Riley Strand went missing close to them. Because that's how come Sebastian Rogers got so much attention. I think he would have been overlooked. Dolly Vision, best true crime channel. But you had that college, when college students go missing, it's a big effing deal. You know what I'm saying? Look at Idaho 4 and stuff like anytime as a college student, it makes national news all over the damn world. They don't give up on college students. They're going to find your ass. If you in the university and you go missing, oh, they all over it. So, of course, as soon as they found Riley Strand floating in that river, sad as that is, Vinny needs to have Dolly on panel. I've been on panel with Vinny. I was on panel with him for the Quentin Simon case. I am the greatest true crime expert in the damn world, though. I don't know. I think Court TV's they scared I might say something crazy, but I'm not. I handle myself professionally when need to be. You know what I'm saying? Here I can joke and play. People know me. But I guess, on Court TV, I'm pretty serious. Like when I did the Quentin Simon interview, I wasn't joking and playing. I was straight to the point on what was going on and what was being said and what was happening. I didn't, I wasn't trying to be funny or anything like that. I know when to be serious, so, and I know when to have a good time and joke around with my people, y'all are my people here. You guys know I'm a big goofball, a big kid, and I can be myself here. There, I got to be a little more professional, which I don't mind being, but, like I don't know how they pick their experts, but I would think you would want people that are familiar with, just like we seen Pascal up there. I like Pascal, but has Pascal ever dealt with Don and Candace Wells? Has he ever sat down and had a conversation with Don and Candace Wells? We just reached out to Don and Candace Wells. Like, I buy their dog food. You know what I'm saying? I've been in their house. I've been there. I know what's going on type shit, right? I'm the one that put the signs up. Like, I would think you would want somebody like Dolly that's familiar with it, You know, the good thing though is they may have took my sign down there in Tennessee, but we're going to put a new one up. I promise you guys that. Right. But I'm glad Pascal is getting some recognition. He's a good guy. I like him. I met him at Crime Con. He's a big ass dude. It was like, what up, Pascal? I mean, he's a big dude. He's a nice guy. So I like nice people. Yeah, I should wish him all the success he can get. So, but far as knowing the case, like he don't really like, we're on two different levels on that one. You know what I'm saying? But far as him being a good guy, he's a really good dude. And, like I said, I hope he does really good on YouTube because we need more good people, right? And he knew when to get out of the Sebastian Rogers stuff because it become chaos because he didn't want to be involved in that stuff, which I can understand that. I don't give up as easy on stuff like that because I thrive in the chaos. I feel comfortable in the chaos. I know these cases are going to be dysfunctional. I know they're going to be crazy. I know they're going to be wild when I get involved in them. So I'm not surprised. It ain't my first rodeo. So the storm never gets too rough for me. I just, when it rains, I pull out an umbrella. When the shit starts flying, I duck. So it comes with this. If you're really passionate about helping and dealing with these missing people and dealing with killers and murderers and all this, I don't think there's nobody, maybe Chris McDonough, that's dealt with more killers and, parents of missing kids. I mean, AWP probably, but I've dealt with a lot of, a lot of stuff over the last 4 years from just unbelievable stuff. Everything from Harmony Montgomery to, I think one of the ones that'll stick with me the most is when they found Avra Hook's body that day that me and her daddy was out there. And her daddy tried to burn the dude in the eyeball with a cigarette and her body was in the trunk of the car. Oh my God. I mean, that was unbelievable. And, just it's hard. Like I didn't know Avra Hooks, but just being with her family that whole day, man, when they found her, I just couldn't believe it. I was crushed like they were. I just, cause I was hopeful. That's one of them ones that'll stick with me. That shit was just beyond crazy. It was just one of the craziest days ever, but just everything in general. So it's weird that I have so much experience in type of stuff, 4.5 years later than where I was at 4 years ago. And it's just going over the cases. I remember I searched for the dude that was running around naked in the woods and the young boy that turned up. That was a good one. I went and met with his family and he was found in Florida. He jumped on a bus and went to Florida. I forget that boy's name. The little girl we went and searched for, and they found her in a trailer. She had wandered up in a trailer and spent the night there. Thank God for that. So there's been some good endings to some of the kids. Juan Sebastian, me and PJ went out searching for Juan. He was in the lake. So, I mean, we've dealt with a lot of people, a lot of families, a lot of missing, murdered kids and their families, right? I don't know. If you would have said to me 5 years ago, honestly, you would have been like, Dolly, you're going to be doing this and that. And I would have never believed it. I would have been like, you're crazy. You done lost your mind. But 5 years later, we're here. All right. So, and dealt with a lot, been through a lot. Right. So anyway, Sebastian Rogers missing. Katie leaves town, leaves Sebastian behind. Now, there's a lot of mothers in this room. There's a lot of grandmothers in this room. There's some fathers in this room. And we all know we wouldn't do that. Now, if you saying you would take off and leave your kid, you suspect to me as being not a great parent. I hate to say that, but that's just the way I feel because most normal people wouldn't do that. And she said she's leaving because he could be anywhere. Well, wouldn't you want to make sure he ain't around the house first? You know, and the searchers searched 5 miles, but did they search 10 miles? Did they search 15 miles? I just feel like this woman is either she is the innocent, guilty acting person I've ever seen, or she has lack of emotion. Now, Katie did go through a lot as a kid. Her mama lives around the corner from me, not too far in this neighborhood. She lives in my neighborhood. And, I ain't going to get into what her mama did or dog her mama or anything like that. But I'm taking it that Katie probably didn't have the best life with the best people around her, even may have been abused as a child. And one of them people may have been Seth, his weirdness, right? He said he waited for her to turn 18. Dolly, Candace said your banner is still there on the shed. Okay. Well, that's nice. I don't think it is. But if it is, that's cool. I wonder why she said this. Candace watching? You want to come up, Candace? You want to come talk with us? Who's connected? Is Fred Hill guilty? Who's guilty, Candace? Listen, my job is to throw theories out there. That's what it is. I don't hate y'all. I don't hate anybody. I just search for answers. And I throw things around and we try to figure it out, But if she knows I'm talking about the banner, why would she say that? That means Candace is somewhere. Are you watching, Candace? Listen, I'm still thankful you let me touch the mullet. I truly am. Right. I feel like ever since then, I've been better at my job. Right. I feel like my sleuthing has went up a notch since I touched the mullet. Now, that's what, when the court TV gets their experts up, none of them experts, Chris McDonough never touched a mullet. Okay. Pascal never touched a mullet. I think Ernie Shell might have touched more than the mullet. I'm kidding, Candace. I'm kidding. I don't want to come up missing. Don't put me under the driveway. All right. If that's true. I don't know. I got jokes. But and of course, if in the end of this, we're going to get answers for Summer Wells. I'm confident in that. Okay. I'm pretty confident. So for everybody watching, know this, there's going to be answers for Summer Wells. And if Candace and Don don't have anything to do with it, I promise you this, I will be on Ben Hill Road and I will be apologizing to them. And I know that ain't going to make anything better. Right. But I'd be the first one to man up and go, you know what? I was absolutely wrong about you people. I'm sorry. That's if I'm wrong. I don't honestly, in my heart of hearts, I don't feel that I'm wrong. Dolly, you should reach out to Seth and have him on the show. Ask some questions. Maybe Chris will listen, get things moving. I am not having Seth on the show. Now, if Seth wants to go out and search for his son, of course, I would let him get up here and talk about the search. I'd go search with him. But at this point, the things that Seth has done, I don't approve of. I truly don't. I thought Seth was a good dude. There's a one point that I'd have done anything to help him. And I feel like he betrayed the YouTube community so much that it's just hard for me, to get behind Seth. I know he's a grieving father, and I there's times that I feel sorry for Seth Rogers out there. I promise you that. But he makes it hard to like him. Okay. You think it's hard to like Chris. I can't. He makes it just as hard as Chris. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what to do in that situation. Now, there is a gathering coming up for Sebastian's birthday. They're getting together and shit, but why ain't they searching? And you know me, I believe in search. You ain't going to find nothing you ain't looking for. Shit don't magically fall in your lap. I said I was going to send her a summer hat. I told PJ that this morning. I said, Christmas is coming up. I'm going to send Don and Candace a hat to Ben Hill Road. And then she was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Because I was going to send everybody a hat with a missing kid. The families that we talk about, I was just going to package them up and ship them to them. But PJ said, I don't think that's a good idea. Because I was going to send Chris and Katie one too. Would have borrowed Dolly soap. Remember we had the soap, Katie Come Clean, with berries and cream? But then they got mad. So we had to change the name, but just Come Clean with berries and cream. And I think we're sold out of that. So I can't even send them none of that. But I would send them. I can't with you today. I think like that. I just do. I was thinking, okay, let's send them, send them something. Just being nice. Not even on no ill will shit. They sell the hats, LOL. Only person that sells stuff with Sebastian on it, I think, is Seth. And his stuff looks terrible. Like whoever designed his Sebastian Rogers stuff, it sucks. Look how cute this summer hat is. Why didn't you do something? Look how cute that is. Like, why didn't you do something like people would want? I think that would help your cause. If you make something that people would buy. Like you just listen, if Seth was really looking, you know how much I would help him? You know how much I would have helped him? But he wouldn't. If he was taking that money and doing the right things, I would help him. Still to this day. I don't have, for people that think I have an ill will towards Seth, I don't. Just like people think I don't like Don and Candace. I don't hate anybody. Nobody. I know everybody's humans. And if people are doing the right things, I will help you. If you're not doing the right things, I don't want to be involved in it. It's simple as that. And I felt like, in the beginning, I gave Seth a lot of benefit of the doubt that he was a grieving father, and he surrounded himself with bad people, fake ass Dog the Bounty Hunter, and screaming ass Betty, and just a bunch of crazies. And I was like, okay, well, he's a grieving father. We'll let me give him benefit of that. I'll give people, I'll give you a little grace. I will. Because I'll be like, man, I don't know what that dude's thinking, what he's going through. And, I'm sure these people were probably promising him the world. TikTok Tony and Betty and Monkey Boy and all these people. But at some point, the way I felt was like, man, you have to know. He had to know, like, the intelligent agents, that dude just got out of prison. Like, he had to know that there was a scam when Dog the Bounty Hunter didn't know him or Sebastian's name. And he still, to this day, runs with it. Like, the reward is, well, no, his last stream, he did put up the actual reward. But he should have been stood up. I told Seth from the beginning he was the voice of Sebastian Rogers. The problem is he didn't want to be the voice for Sebastian Rogers. He didn't. He wanted everybody else to be the voice. He wanted TikTok Tony to be the voice. He wanted Dog the Bounty Hunter to be the voice. But he didn't realize, what he don't realize is how strong his voice actually is. The reason that everybody rallied behind Sebastian Rogers is because of him. And then he flipped that shit like, make our day and play the Wash Your Flaps video. But so it makes it hard for me because I'm like, I feel like maybe you're not the good dude that I thought you were, because a good person would eventually realize they're around bad people. Now, listen, I ain't gonna say I ain't never been around bad people. I have, but I realized, hey, I'm around bad people. I need to get the hell away from you. And I did that. Right. So when I don't blame you for maybe getting involved with the wrong people thinking they'll do the right things. But then when you see that they ain't doing right, and you continue to ride with them and rock with them, and then I can't mess with you, right? I just can't, you know. Now, when it comes to this kid, there's no hard feelings. If he was willing to go out and search and put a public search party together, I would help him do it. I go there, I fly down there. If he want to search this weekend, I'd fly down. Well, not this weekend, but maybe sometime after Christmas. I'd fly down there. You know, now this, you know, the little gathering for Sebastian on his birthday, that's good and all. But why don't you put a fucking search party together? Like, use your 2 ass legs and get out there and let's look for this kid. That's my biggest problem with all of them. And to be honest, like, you'd be like, Dolly, what's your illness with these people? They ain't searching. That's it. If they were searching for their kid, I'd talk good about all of them. And I just feel like people have given up. They've lost hope. And it's sad. You know, when Seth was out there in front of the police station, that was so sad to see because all them people abandoned him. Sebastian Army, it wasn't even like, where were they at? Where was Sebastian's army? I knew all them people that were saying that shit were the fakest people on the planet. I knew that. Right? Look at Sebastian's army now. That's the weakest damn army ever. I mean, ever. The Taliban put up a bigger fight. Okay. I mean, I hate to say it. They just vanished. They were like, okay, new story. See you later. There ain't $1 to be made. I'm out. You know, like, what happened to TikTok? What happened to all these people? And then you see Seth out there, and he's out there with one psychic and a midget. Okay, a little person. I want to be PC. I don't know if he had a midget or not, but he should have. He'd been better off, right? A little Josie or something. That was hard to see, right? Who didn't feel sorry for him, right? Listen, I don't like all the people he hung out with, all the badass TikTok Tonys, and you know, but I felt bad for Seth. I was watching. I was like, this is bad. Like, you know, I'm not a spiteful person, so I don't want to see nothing bad like happen to Seth or Seth go through anything bad. I'd rather have the perfect ending every time. You know, the boys found answers, or like Emmanuel Haro, right? I like closure. I'm one of those people. I'm good with Josie, right? I'm good with closure. I just need closure. That's it. And then I can move on. But when there's no closure, I can't move on. I'm kind of trapped. I'm just kind of trapped in it, right? Like, because I ain't one of those people that give up or quit. I just don't have that in me. It's never been one of those things that, you know what I'm saying? I just don't. And so it's hard for me just to walk away and go, okay, it's not going to be solved. I don't think like that. It's just not in my being to think like that. And I think I get it as a YouTuber. People got to tell big stories. They need their clicks and their views and their watch time and stuff like that. But some of these people just completely abandon what they said that they were. And I think a lot of these people got close to Seth to use them. And there was only so many people that were truthful with him. And Seth didn't want to hear the truth. And like, you know, like I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink. And I tried to stick his head in the water and he wouldn't drink it. Right. So he didn't listen. And then you got to watch the downfall of it. And then it's bad. I didn't like that at all. And I still would hope to see, you know, a Christmas miracle. And honestly, I know nobody agrees with this. I think Seth, Chris, and Katie should work it out. And they should put public searches together to try to find this kid. If they're not guilty, actions, right? It's the actions of people that make you look guilty. Your actions make Seth seem like an opportunist and he's in it for money. And Chris and Katie, the lack of searching makes them look like they don't care. and it's their actions. You know, I like to see that change. I honestly would, because at this point, it'll be hard to find Sebastian if people continue to do the same thing. You know, I hate to say it, definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That is absolutely the definition of insanity. And I feel like that's what's happening right now. And I know people love drama. They don't want to see Seth, Katie, and Chris work it out. They don't want to see that. I'd rather see them work it out. I mean, they done called each other every name they can think of. Chris can't stand Seth. Seth don't like Chris. He's still making threats. They gotta move on past that. That's not helping Sebastian Rogers whatsoever. Neither one of them are. And that's just the honest truth. If you got all this hate out there, we're gonna need some love to find this kid. Hate didn't work. Everybody fighting, and please read my comment, Cat Lady. What's your comment, Cat Lady? I didn't see it. Now I can't go through the whole damn chat to find your comment, Cat Lady. Cat Lady, Dolly, look up Jason in Michigan and read about my daughter's story. It's horrific, and we have been fighting for 30 years. Okay, I have to take a look at it. I'll make sure PJ reminds me. 1,000. It took that long to get 1,000 likes. Good Lord, y'all did me dirty today. Y'all did me dirty. Adam Montgomery made sure that Harmony could never be found, but he's in prison just the same. Yeah, that's sad. That dude's a piece of shit and a coward. To be such a tough guy, he's such a coward. Such a coward. So let's pray for a miracle and things change in the Sebastian Rogers case. Like this gathering for his birthday. I mean, I think that's great. I think it's on the 7th, December 7th, here in just a few days. I may be wrong. Am I right, mods? Is it December 7th? So, and I guess, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't like to show up at things like that because I don't know. People be pissed off at me. They don't like my opinions. Yes, the 7th. Okay. That is right, Dolly. Okay, cool. So they're having, I don't have the flyer handy to give y'all, but I know they're having a gathering for his birthday. Yes, Dolly, this Sunday. So if you're in that area, you know, go down there and show some love for Sebastian Rogers. Do it for me. You know what I'm saying? Represent Dolly Vision. I don't like to show up at things because I don't like chaos, and I don't want people to make it about me being there. And then it's more about Dolly than it is about Sebastian Rogers. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how these people act. And because it's egos. It's all about egos and like a pissing contest. And it shouldn't be that. It should be about this child. And that is it. Hopefully we see something different in 2026. But I doubt it, you know. But it never hurts to say a little prayer that things are changing in this case. And if they're listening, just know that if you want to make change, you can make a change, you know, but you got to start somewhere. You know, at some point you got to go, okay, you know what, Dolly's right. This ain't working. And all these people claim to be Christian, but they have no forgiveness in them, right? None. Like can't forgive, stay mad, stay bitter, stay broken. You have to forgive to heal. Or the wounds will always be open. And they just won't. But let's just hope that miracles happen and something comes up. And, you know, of course, these kids are found. Now let's jump back into this court TV stuff. And they're going to go over Sebastian Rogers.
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
At this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
Do you think you deserve to die for murdering those innocent people?
You tell me.
Can you see how damning that evidence is? How do you explain that?
My goal is to make sure that you remember me for the rest of your life.
Oh my God. It looks more like fury than fear.
I feel guilty for that.
You felt guilty because, frankly, you were guilty.
Interview with a Killer. Marathon starting Friday, 5/4 Central. Only on Court TV.
Okay, one mystery box sold.
I'm not part of the investigation.
There's still 4 more.
They don't have to let me know anything, which they don't let me know anything. I'm in law enforcement myself, so I've got to trust the procedure.
That's Seth Rogers, Sebastian Rogers' father, who appeared here on Court TV with
producer.
me, talking about his missing son and working with law enforcement in that case. Let's bring back in Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas. Cody, let's talk about Sebastian Rogers.
Hello.
What do we know about Sebastian?
Well, Vinny, he's a teen with autism who went missing from his mother's home in February of 2024. Now, his mother said they went to bed normally that night. Everything was simple. Everything was normal. They went to bed. She woke up to wake him up to go to school the next morning around 6 a.m. There was no sign of Sebastian. Now, of course, like we just watched, his father joined us here on the network saying that he doesn't believe his son would just up and leave. Take a listen.
It doesn't seem like my son at all. He would never leave my house in the middle of the night barefoot. And if he did, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. You know, we've left in the middle of the night. There's been times that we've gone fishing in the middle of the night. You know, we plan that sort of stuff. But him walking out the door in the middle of the night, no. It's not something he would do. It's something he's never done on me.
Okay, I want to add something real quick. So, Candace is saying that the banner that I hung is still there. And if I don't believe her, it's a me problem. Okay? It's a me problem. All right, Candace. I'm going to take your word for it. Okay? I'm going to take your word for it. That little girl's picture is still there. And I'll tell you what, if it is there, I will, when I come down to Kingsport, I will put up 2 or 3 more. All right. Around the city of Summer Wells. All right. Let's keep the pot hot. And even if you're a suspect to me, all right. And I'll put up more banners, you know, and I'll put them in some populated places in the city. And I'll get permission to make sure they don't get taken down wherever I put them. You know, let's keep spreading this awareness for this little girl. Even if, you know, in the end of this, we'll find out who's guilty because there's going to be answers. I promise you guys. You got to have faith in Dolly. They'll get to the bottom of this. And when they do, whoever's responsible will pay. If it's Candace and Don, then Candace and Don will have to pay the consequences for whatever happened. If it's not, then a lot of people owe these people apologies, and I'll be in line with all of y'all. We'll all be there, right? Oh, he'll be full. Sorry, I didn't know, right? But if the Illuminati, the Summer Wells Illuminati. So I just want to throw that out there before we get too far out into this. So, and like I said, you know, coming up a couple of weeks before Christmas, we don't have a lot of theories around the holidays because we don't want to do anything or say anything to mess up the Christmas spirit. You understand what I'm saying? Like we'll pick back up the first of the year, but 2 weeks up into the holidays, we'll start doing other things that are not pointing the fingers or coming up with crazy, you know, theories. Because, you know, that's what we discuss here. Rumors, theories, stuff like that. So, but I know some of that can be if you innocent and you're hearing people think you did it, I know it can be hurtful. So that's why, like I said, on people's birthdays, like you won't see me talking about Sebastian Rogers on his birthday. You know, you may see me talk about him the day after his birthday, but we leave stuff alone like that when it's, you know, a special time for the family. And we may think they don't give a damn, but they might. So we try to keep it like that.
Now, Vinny, Sebastian's mother also spoke about this situation on the Chronicles of Olivia YouTube channel. Take a listen to what she had to say.
He said, all right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. Love you. And went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep. And about midnight I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock I went to wake him up for school Monday morning. And that's when he wasn't here.
And Vinny, just a sad, tragic situation overall, just because it's so unclear. You go to bed one night and then a couple hours later you wake up and your son's not there. You can only imagine how that must feel.
Okay, so when was the last time that Sebastian Rogers was seen?
Well, he was last seen February 26th of 2024 on Stafford Court in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And Vinny, we have video of him and his mother at a restaurant on February 25th, the evening of the 25th. So this would be really just a few hours before she went to wake him up to go to school, and that she noticed that he was missing. So it's been, you know, quite some time. There's still, you know, developments coming out in this story. He has not been found, but we're looking right here, just a few hours before he was reported missing by his mother.
And what is the current status of the investigation? Because this goes all the way back, as you said, back to 2024.
Yeah, Vinny, that Amber Alert is still very active. Police stress that this investigation is still very much so active. Even the FBI is offering $50,000 for any information regarding his whereabouts, Vinny. And his mother also has gone on record advising that if he is seen, if he is alive somewhere and someone sees him, to not approach him because his responses are a little bit different than other children. She says to just monitor him and simply call the police.
All right, Cody Thomas, appreciate all the work tonight. Thanks so much. And that brings us to the final question in our investigation for this hour, which is, where is Sebastian Rogers? Question we've been asking for quite some time. Still here helping us with our investigation, former homicide detective Chris McDonough, host of the Interview Room with Chris McDonough, along with Steve Fisher, who has been the private investigator hired by Sebastian's mother and stepfather.
Okay, you know good damn well that Stephen Fisher ain't been hired by them. He says he gets paid $2,000 a day. Do you think they're paying him $2,000 a day? Come on now. Come on now. Now I could hit up. I almost got the nerve that I might even hit Chris up to ask him. I'd be like, "Are you paying Stephen Fisher? This dude's let he make $200. He's hired by the family. What did they hire you with? Nothing. What did they pay you? Nothing." I just don't buy it. This dude inserts himself into everything. Into everything. He was so late to this, right? He was so late. He's one of those, I'm going to look at the lights for fucking, with damn, what is the other dude that looks at the lights? What's this? The mob crew. He's like, he's still looking at the lights. All right. Mystery box. You got a mystery box, Thelma? All right, cool.
All right, Steve, I'll begin with you. This is like Gone Without a Trace.
Yeah, it is. It's a really confusing case, but and it's just there's a lot of misinformation out there. I'll tell you that you know, at the beginning of the year, we released where we found surveillance from a house.
Oh, shut up. Is he going to go with these lights again? Right? You know, Seth said he's seen the whole video. It's a trash truck. The police showed him the whole video.
One street over at 12:17 a.m. on the 26th, which would have been,
an hour and a half, 2 hours after.
I wish I could sit down with Vinny for 10 minutes with no cameras on and just talk to him. Me and Vinny gonna have a talk at CrimeCon this year, okay? Because I know he'll be in Vegas. I'll be in Vegas. I'm going to talk to this man. I'll be like, dude, bro, you be having some fucking. I don't know where you get your experts at. Well, we gotta have that talk.
He was heard in the bedroom. That person, as far as we know, is not accounted for. That is right along where the construction area is. And we think that there's a chance that was him. And then going into the construction area, I will tell you that at 8:30 a.m. the next morning, when the canines got on scene, a tracking canine came through another backyard and literally started running, and the handlers started jogging and went right to the exact spot where that surveillance image.
Why is he lying? Why is he lying? Can anybody tell me why he's lying right now? All right, listen. The lead detective came out and said the dogs didn't hit on anything. Why are they going to get up here and say the dogs hit on something when the police are saying the dogs didn't hit on nothing? Do they think they know something the cops don't know? The police said the dogs did not hit on anything. Nothing. Zero. Facts. Anybody that's been following this case, go research it. The dogs didn't hit on nothing. Zero. Almost like Sebastian wasn't never there. Dogs hit on zip. So for this man to get on national TV and just absolutely lie or contradict what the police are saying, maybe he believes that. I give him a benefit of the doubt. Maybe Stephen Fisher believes that. But that contradicts what the police have said. Now, there's a reason you're a private investigator and your ass ain't the police. Terrible.
Was taken.
And it gives us just a little more information about
the dog never hit on the retention pond. The dogs never hit on nothing. The dogs went to the retention pond, probably because they wanted some water. They didn't hit on nothing. Was Sebastian at the retention pond? No, he wasn't. The dogs didn't hit. I will pull the video up the next time I come up here of the lead detective saying the dogs was false hits. They wasn't tracking anything. The dogs were just running around. They didn't hit on nothing. I mean, that's facts. 100% facts. The dog handlers were walking the dogs. That don't mean the dogs hit. All right, because there's indications when a dog hits on something, or when a dog tracks. Just like when they bring a canine up to your car, when it hits, it'll either sit down, and bark, it'll paw at where the drugs are in your car. There's a cadaver dog lays down where the body would be. There's indications when a dog hits. If you just handling the dog and he's running around, that ain't a hit. And I'm just telling you what the police said. I'm telling you what the lead detective in this case that runs the search for Sebastian Rogers said the dogs did not hit on anything. Nothing. So Stephen Fisher's up here basically disputing what the police are saying. I'm just saying, I ain't the one that said it. I'm just telling you what was said. I've been following this case from day one.
What does the surveillance image show, and what story does it tell you?
So it's very hard to see. You have to enhance it, but it's a shadowy figure on Kellen Lane, which is one street over, which is where it's believed that.
Not the lights again.
The construction zone.
This ain't the lights he's talking about. He's talking about the shadow that looks like there's a shadow going behind a car on the next road over.
This is not that. This is a different one that the FBI has come out and said that is not of any relevance.
It hasn't been any. The FBI came out and says it has no relevance. So what the hell is he talking about? That's what I don't get. Like, if you're going to bring somebody up here and be like they're an expert, and they're not, they ain't even close, right? And they have a narrative to push. Like, I can say this about Chris McDonough in this one. At least he don't have a narrative. He don't have a dog in the fight. Okay, so he has no reason to come up here and make things up on this one, because he don't have he may have an opinion, but he's not been down there. He's not been in the trenches. So he's just speaking from, his years of experience of what he thinks. This guy's been there. He's dealt with the family. He said, I make $2,000 a day. I was hired by the family. The family didn't reach out to you. You reached out to this family. You a damn ambulance chaser. I can't stand when people are just like this. It's just, now what's he on the David case? He's done gave up on the family. But when it's time for TV and it's time for some clout, he's there, right? Oh yeah, I'm on this case. Dude, you ain't did shit for this case. It's a joke. It's no different than, he's like a dog to bounty hunter. Get the hell out of here with that. Oh my God.
It's one thing I also want to say is there's been very little news. Obviously, law enforcement is not talking about this case, and that has a lot to do with because this fake intelligence agency has come in and it kind of stirred things up. But I can promise you, there is still real efforts going on. Not long ago, we held a very precise, targeted search with forensic professionals, along with federal authorities alongside of them, and they were with us, and some of this was on federal property. So there are things going on. We're just not talking about it regularly just because of how polarized the whole thing has become.
Well, it absolutely has. Chris McDonough, your thoughts about where Sebastian Rogers is?
This case was set into motion within the first 2 hours when the first officer was on the scene. And the first question that was going to be asked, obviously, is this an abduction risk and or a walkaway? It's not unusual for autistic children.
Oh yeah, guys. The PJ wants me to mention to you. I said I have 5 of them pink hats left, the summer hats like this. And I'm throwing them in our large mystery boxes. This this is just an extra thing that'll go in the box. You'll still get all the premium soaps, lotions, body washes, but I'm throwing 5 of these in the first 5 large boxes. So we have a small box, mystery box, and we have a large mystery box. So the large mystery boxes will get these hats. Okay. And I doubt I hit the goal on this, the second one to give away, but if you get the mystery box, it has to be the large mystery box to get the hats. Because we got to have room to put them in there in the mouse pad. It don't take up much room, but we got to have a little bit of room. It just comes in a bigger box, with more soaps and more lotions in it. Not called large box, just regular and premium. Okay, so it's in the premium box. All right, not large. It is a bigger box though, PJ. One box is this big. And one box is like this big. I take them to the post office. It's a bigger damn box. I know that much. But she says it's a regular box and a premium box. So I'm going to put those 5 hats in the premium box. I have other hats. I just only got pink and 5. I think I got 5 pink hats or 6 pink hats left. So whatever, until I'm out of pink hats, they'll go in the premium boxes. And then, of course, I got to order more hats. Then I'll take a few days to get in. But I got some black ones. I don't have them printed, but I have some black ones. So if you get a premium box, it'll come with like a hat and a mouse pad and all your soaps, lotions, and whatever else PJ's throwing in there for Christmas. But you got to remember, when you order the box, it's the soaps and lotions that are the mystery box. The rest of the stuff we throw in are just add-ins. They're those small little things. They're not like, it might be a pair of socks, beanie, gloves. It could be pins. It could be stickers. It could be whatever, bath bombs or whatever we decide to throw in there. But you're going to get that price that and lotion and soaps alone, and then all the other shit's just extras.
Can you tell Miss Thelma that you just got her white shirt and the Buy PJ shirt that you're not made yet is going to come soon? She just will order the premium box.
Okay, I think they heard you.
Oh, and the only reason I made such a big deal about the wording is because people are confused as to what to order or how to order it. If you just say large box, the regular one looks like it would be the large box. Nothing says large box. It literally says
Okay, well, I didn't know.
well,
The premium
I wrote
box,
it that
the
way,
premium,
and it's like you
premium.
read that completely opposite of what I said. And when you're done, I want to show you this conversation.
Okay. All right. Well, you want me to wrap up?
You're fine.
I still got to go over Jack and Lily stuff, but I can come back after lunch and go over Jack and Lily.
Somebody suggested you make Jack and Lily hats. I think those would be cute.
What am I supposed to do with them?
I mean, people would get mystery boxes for their hats.
I mean, I could do something like that. I mean, I don't know. I just did this because I was bored this morning.
You could have done the freaking stuff for your channel.
I mean, I didn't know what needed to be done. You was asleep. I just did what I was bored. I was like, all right, let me make this logo. Let me put it on a hat. I mean,
That's a cute hat.
I was just bored. I did it out of boredom. Okay, listen, guys, I'm going to wrap up till after lunch, and I'll come back and we'll go over to more. We'll finish up the Sebastian stuff, and we'll get into the Jack and Lily stuff because we've already been here with y'all 3 hours, but PJ's only here for 30 minutes. So, once she's gone, I will come back live with you guys and we'll finish up the Jack and Lily stuff. So be looking for me in about a half hour. See you guys then. Remember, Dolly loves you. Peace.